Hello everyone! I am Tacet and welcome to the Gems of War stream. Apparently we haven't taken our tribute. Let's go grab that. Oh, only a 5. But today we are going to be doing a bunch of bard leveling, and we also have a little poll. There was someone who wanted me to collect this data and do a video on it, so I figured why not? We'll do it probably next weekend after next Mythic comes out. But let me go get the link real quick. Actually, never mind. The link's already there. Well, I guess links do work now in chat as well. But if you check the first link in the description for anyone watching after the fact, or if you click that link right there, which actually I think people after the fact can click that as too. But if you click that link, it'll bring you to a little poll there. Answer that if you can. That's on the Gems of War forum. But yeah, it's basically like which mythic is the best to craft. We pretty much already know what that is, but there's a poll there. So we'll have some data to back it up as well based on what the community thinks it is, instead of what I normally say, though it's pretty similar to what I would normally say it is. Maybe just with some slight variance here and there. Obviously Infernus is #1, that goes without saying. That Infernus is the best thing to craft in the entire game. But anyways, yeah, other than that, we'll probably throw a little bit of maps today. Nothing new as far as content today. We are getting new Mythic next Friday, though. But also next Friday, I believe, is Gnome Event, too. So we're actually getting 2 things at once, Gnome Event and the new Mythic. But of course, with the event, we still have to go do a bunch of maps. We're almost complete with it. At this point, we get like a key every like 7 that we do or something. So that'll be pretty nice once we get around to that. But anyways, for now, let's just go do some standard PvP. And if you guys have anything you want me to go over, any teams or anything of the such, feel free to mention them. Otherwise, good majority of the time we'll be working towards just getting our gold up, other resources, ingots, as well as trying to get bard levels. I'm not getting it max this week for sure, but I figured we still level it some just because we have the 20%. So if we were to ever do it on any week, this is probably the week we should probably be doing it on, just since we already have it. Also, I didn't eat anything this morning, so I have honeycomb cereal dry over here. I'll just be nibbling on. I do have to say, though, out of any dry cereal, honeycomb does work the best. Mainly because it's so big. Anyways, move that over. I think you already won. Knowing Divine with your infinite HP, what are you doing? Okay, let's try getting a nice little poke on him. I wish I would have extra turns. But we're still alive, barely. Ever so barely. What are you doing? Oh, that's problematic. That is really problematic. Okay, we'll try for yellow. I don't have any drops that are worth it. I can't even take any color that we need. Is that green the only thing we can take? Fine, I'll take it that way. That doesn't give him anything. At least not yet. Move the yellow over. Oh yeah, it's blocking, isn't it? He's gonna get even more HP, making it even harder to kill it with Ubistet. That was Rose Skull. At least Ubistet keeps getting attacked, but he dies next to anything he does. He's probably gonna kill us with Dawnbringer. Yep, there he goes. Yeah, he won. It's over. We can't outdo his HP. Davinia, why must you do this to us? Okay, well, into the firebombs. Also, hello everyone. They even say hello to everyone yet. Hello Siplom. Hello Medieval. Hello Danny. Hello Liamer. Hello Jan. And hello Emos. And hello everyone else. Welcome. You gotta say the triple Faunessa really works well. Yes, it does. Triple Faunessa is insanely powerful this week. Normally you would almost never use her, but this week is a little bit different. She's not horrible. So, yeah, kind of nice to mess around with. So your opinion on best legendary epic weapon upgrades besides Mang and Mountain Crusher? Mang and Mountain Crusher. As far as legendary, yes, there's I was actually meaning to do a video on that too, because several people were requesting for that as well. But let's see, Divine Protector, Mang, Mountain Crusher, that one Ripper one, I believe it's red yellow, I forget its exact name. That one's okay. The other version of Mang, that one brown red. Cauldron is okay, though you'd make it a lot later on. Bronze Lock Pistol is decent. Anu Scepter is decent. And there's probably a few other ones I didn't think of. Black Manacle, Staff of Madness, Crescendo, and probably a few more that are okay doing. There's about, I'd say about 12 to 15 of them that are kind of okay to do. With, of course, the main priorities being things like Mountain Crusher, Divine Protector if you have it, and whatever version of Mang you're deciding to use for most of your battles, or just Mang itself. Those tend to be your very, very first priorities every single time. Just because they gain the most amount of benefit, because you use them the most. Oh yeah, Hope's Crescent was one of the other ones too. There's Hope's Crescent, there's the red-yellow one, which is called something Ripper if I'm not mistaken, and then there's Mang, and then there's the other version of Mang. Those four things, depending on which one you want to use, or what multiple ones of those you want to use, you do end up upgrading. But what does this one actually get specifically? I forget. It gains Rage, it gains... I actually forget what most of those do. So it does 3 damage to a random enemy, it creates or destroys a random Doom Skull, so it gets a little bit of damage in there, plus Explosion, technically, if there is one on the board. It gets Enrage, and it gets a minor Splash, which is some adjacent damage. Let's see. Oh, that's the one that does it based on if their life is greater. I guess that could be really powerful at a lower level range, since most things you'd be facing would be higher HP than you. Yeah, quite a few of the Mang-like ones you tend to use quite a bit, depending on the situation. Okay, we'll go and get that done. Do keep in mind, for any of them, any single weapon that says it creates 1 gem of any kind tends to be near useless because it can backfire very heavily. Like, the effect that it has is more so a negative effect than a positive one, which is really annoying, anything that does end up doing that. And there are a lot of them. Why did I do that? I could have actually already used that instead. But luckily we get it again, and then just Uber Stick kill it. And there we go. Hello, Rut! Hello, JCG! Hello, Maze! Welcome, welcome, welcome. And hello, Fiery as well. You're thinking of Death Kneel? Is Death Kneel any good? I didn't actually check it. Does it have a lot of explosions? I checked most of them, but there's always those ones that kind of break through that aren't really that good, but they could have gotten like insanely good perks. Death Kneel used to kind of be used before the other like red-purple weapons came into the game. Let me see. Upgrade weapon. Steal 3 life from first enemy, explode a skull, and explode... Oh no, it destroys a Doom Skull. Well, technically that's still explode, because it explodes itself, so yeah, it still gets 2 explodes. Interesting. Yeah, there is 2 explodes now on top of that. That isn't too bad. Souls is obviously not that needed. The lifesteal isn't really going to do much either. It does gain 2 magic, so that's 4 additional damage since it does hit 2 targets. I guess that's not too bad. It does hit the weakest enemies automatically too. Could be something you could kind of set as your AI defend as well. And we could have 5 more damage on it too. We're not using the correct hero color right now, so we could have 5 more than what we already have. Yeah, that's not too bad, especially since I believe the proper red-purple weapon that hits all enemies, most people don't own. It's Staff of Madness, which I would say is probably better to upgrade than that, but most people don't have Staff of Madness because it's one of those really weird ones that were only ever available through Glory, and then were never really available again, and that is one of those weapons. But yeah, Staff of Madness is basically the other alternative to it. It still gets a explode in there, it gets a disease, more reduction, the mana drain, and it just does more overall as far as what the actual ability does. But no, that definitely does have potential. I could see that being okay. You would need a lot of skull stuff on the board, but assuming there was a Doom Skull and a skull on the board, yeah, that's a decent amount of mana every single time. Also, since there probably wouldn't be too many Doom Skulls, you'd kind of know where that one explosion is every single time. You just wouldn't really know where the skull one will end up going down. Okay, let's go take the yellow right there, take a bit of red, go from there. And what else do we need? Go just throw in Furnace. I'm not always late. Not always. Most of the time. No. I've been trying to get better at it. It just sometimes it sneaks up some days. It's like, oh yeah, we gotta go do that. Sometimes setup also takes a lot longer than I would think.
Sometimes it can take a few minutes. Other times it feels like it takes like 20 minutes. Oh, what are you doing? Okay, we can still win this, actually. Go reburn him. What's he doing? He's gonna win is what he's doing. He just won off that Infernus right there. He just stole my gold! What are you doing? Should have left the battle before he stole my gold. Okay, the only way you could possibly win is if, or we could win, is if we somehow get full mana into extra turn right now. And either of those two things happens, and we're dead. And he didn't even go down the Infernus route. He just went straight into Ubistat and already killed us. Good job. Also, hello, Adam. Welcome. Yeah, Divines are so annoying right now. Even using Divines against them, it's like, nope, you still don't get to win sometimes. Unless you're like really focused on the battle. I'll move that down. He's got the full mana there through Ubistat, and then he just kills himself out. Dead. Win. You have 40 gems in daily tasks today? Nice. I think the highest I've ever had was 60 or 70. I can't remember. Is one of them worth like 30? I think there's like 2 or 3 of them worth 30. It's the trophy one. And I forget what the other ones were. I could have sworn that there were at least a couple though. Right now we have we have Arena. We're actually probably going to do an Arena run during the stream. Might as well. It takes like, what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes? Because one of our objectives is to go do Arena in order to go and get 10 gems. And for 10 gems, it's worth doing it. Might as well. I don't see why not. It's basically a gem per minute. Pretty much anything that's a gem per minute is worth it. Assuming you're also getting other resources while doing it. Like when you use Dragon Soul to try to farm with whatever that, like, when you have to do like 15 battles to get 10 gems. If you do it with a Dragon Soul, it tends to be worth it because you're gaining souls the entire time as well. On top of the basically almost 1 gem per battle. Or at least 1 gem per minute as far as how quick the battles go. Okay, so you know what? Let's actually do that right now. Why not? Let's go do an arena run. It's our objective, one of them. Let's see, we gotta go, the KZL one I think is useless. It's only 2,000 gold, not really that good. Win any battle with 4 trips to the same mana type. How did both of those give 2,000? This one takes like 5 to 8 minutes. This one takes like 30 seconds. And also this one's pretty useless, but it doesn't take that long. Only 2 maps. But luckily we only have to do 4 battles. The only one worth doing is, well, this one because it takes literally seconds. And this one because 10 gems. Yeah, let's go claim that one. See what we get. Hopefully pure yellow team. Where's Arena? Games, Arena. Okay, we got yellows already. I'll take the... I guess it doesn't matter too much. Which one's more durable? You are. So we'll take you. Dryad or Nymph? Nymph would cover more color. Dryad is more useful though. But because it's we're using Dawnbringer, we go Nymph. And nice, we can go pure yellow. Oh, this actually counts as our objective as well, or it should. Sweet, so we'll go, and who has the highest attack here and durability and everything? Wait, why are your stats so ridiculously low? Compared to, like, everything. Is Nymph just that high? I thought the bonus doesn't apply anymore in this game mode. Or maybe it just doesn't apply to hero. Oh, I see. Maybe it still applies to troops, but not to hero. Also, that would explain why your stats are so much higher. But anyways, we'll put it like that, I guess. I don't know, we'll put you up some, because we still get to use your ability for Entangle and such. Anyways, let's just leave it at that. And just spam yellow every single time. We don't have to... I believe brown-blue banner still affects Arena. I actually haven't bothered double-checking as of recently. It doesn't show there anymore, so maybe it doesn't. But anyways, let's just do it on normal difficulty. Dawnbringer is playing Arena legitimately. Haha. Haha. But no. We're just gonna go through it real quick. We'll probably play a real one after, or at some point during the stream. I don't see why not. I just want to get this one done quick. Once you have Dawnbringer, there's really no point in ever using not Dawnbringer in Arena. Same thing's gonna happen with whatever the new Mythic weapon's gonna be. Huh. Well, we already got 2,000 gold. Yes, you do get 1 free repick per day. I already used a repick though.
The other repick I had was gain 4 maps for doing like 15 battles or something. It was even more annoying than the miss the scale ones. And then we ended up getting another miss the scale one, so or another map one. It basically replaced a map task with another map task. So that kind of failed. But nothing we could do about that. But yeah, we do have one free repick. It just the repick was horrible. It was basically the exact same task. The banner is still working, isn't it? The blue and brown. Why on earth is blue and brown banner still active in Arena? I'll take the red. He'll throw a runic. He'll just hit barrier. And dead. Yep. We got 11 mana. It's still active. It's still really strange. I don't know why that's intended. They know for sure it's a thing. They even said in the past it's actually intended. I don't understand why it's intended. It just seems really weird that you have an invisible +1 brown +1 blue bonus in this game mode. Like, it didn't always used to be that way either, which is kind of weird. Like, at one point they had legitimate no banner available. Maybe it just has to do with something like with how the game now defaults ever since they switched over to Unity. That's the only thing I could possibly think of. And then instead of saying that they could never fix the bug, they'll just say, or that they won't get a focus on it anytime soon, they'll just say, yeah, that's totally intended. They've done that many times before. Yeah, let's take the Scolder. Let me take the blue. They basically say it's intended until they finally get fixed. Or figure out a way to fix it.
Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge.
And dead. Yeah, every single battle takes like under a minute. It is so ridiculously overpowered using Dawnbringer. Especially when you get a pure team of yellow like this. Take the red. Also, bonuses don't work in Arena anymore. You can't use your level advantage to destroy everyone like you used to be able to. But I guess that does make it a lot fairer. That's the whole point of Arena, is to make it as even a playing field as it could possibly be. Which was always weird why it wasn't like that. That's actually a really nice change, though, that they did. Now that it actually is, like, insanely fair. Because the only thing that you can possibly have now in Arena that gives you an advantage is having more weapons unlocked. Like Dawnbringer. But other than that, just having more weapons to use is the only thing that really helps you. Hello, Exos. Welcome. I know map tasks are super useless. You can get like 100 maps plus per hour just by using a natural map farming team. If you ever like actually legitimately needed maps, you get it at such a quick rate compared to anything else they ever give it for. Once you have double Tyree, it's easily 100 maps per hour. All you just do is go Dryad. Well, there's two different teams you could do. There's the one Tyree method, which is super cheap, which is the Dryad, Goblin Shaman, Dryad, Tyree with a Frozen banner. That one's a little bit slower. But later on in the game, you could just do Green Seer, Giant Spider to double Tyree. And that's easily 100 plus per hour, assuming you have that.
And you just keep spamming it over and over again. You do have to make sure you complete out the battle, though. Or else you don't get the resources. Oh no! We just lost our hero. Could have entangled it, but oh well. Anyways. You do damage, don't you? Yeah, you do. Haven't used that thing in ages. I don't think I've used it since release because it's useless. It was never good. One of those troops that came into the game and then just was never useful for anything. And there we go. There's our 10 gems. And we get the normal rewards. That's such a weird amount of gold now. I mean, souls that we end up getting. Why does the gold look so normal? I guess because we have it on 5%. Our souls is still at like 4% or something. Which makes it look all really weird. No, don't accidentally waste your 20 gems. We just got 10 gems. Don't make us waste it. And there we go. That's basically all we have to do with tasks today. I guess maybe we'll do the KZL one. Oh, never mind. That's only 2,000 gold. Never mind. Neither of these are worth it. Both of those are 100% pointless, so we just ignore both of them. Maybe I'll do the KZL one just so the other ones refresh, but... I don't know. Maybe we'll do the Miss Scales one just so it refreshes. Because that one will take half the time. Anyways, that's that. Let's go back to PvP a little bit. And let's go to the easy one. Definitely don't want to deal with divines. Yeah, Salty has been waiting for an absurd amount of viewers before she would give out the spoiler. And she hasn't ever hit it, ever. Like the viewer count she wants, she's never hit before. Actually, we haven't either. I think the highest amount of viewers we've ever had at one given time is about high 100s, like about 180, I believe. I actually forget what even our highest is at this point, but it was somewhere around like 180, 190 or something. Highest they have ever had, I believe, is 210, approximately. Yeah, I probably should advertise more often. Oh no, I always feel bad doing it, but I probably should be doing it like way, 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 way ridiculously more than I do. But yeah, it is something I need to go and do more often. Well, the game does have a pretty big player base. About 100,000 people play the game per week across all platforms. Like, if we go check our PvP rating right now, we're ranked like 40,000. And we've easily been like ranked 60,000 for 70,000. And that's not even every platform. Nor is it every single person that happens to be above us, obviously. Yeah, it's a relatively high number. What do we need to move here? We'll go for that. Get out this Gulf though. Why does he still have so much durability? I guess he got barriered a lot off the Dawnbringer. We'll do that again. Need that Ubistet up. It has enchant. I just need the last little bit of its mana. Come on, Brown. We need you. It is the Ubistet and dead. Even if he revives, he still kills it out. I need a marketing director. No, we don't need to go overkill it that much. We don't need to overkill that much. Yeah, over 100,000 play the game, yes. Actually, like I said right now, if we go into the PvP leaderboard, you can see we're currently 45,861 at 7,000 rating. So even if we are generous, there's at minimum 50,000, though it's way more closer to 100,000. Especially if you count all platforms instead of just PC, mobile, and Amazon. Because this only counts PC, mobile, Amazon version. This does not count PS4, and it does not count Xbox One. Also, that obviously doesn't count everyone because there's many people below us who have less than 7,000 PvP points this week. We'll just go into this one. Yeah, the number's really high. Oh, thank you, Exos. Yes, we did finally reach level 1,300. It's going to be forever until we reach the next milestone, though, which of course is 1,400. Though we get one attack when we do, which isn't really going to be that useful, but you never know. That one attack could be enough to actually land a kill for once. Especially if you do it into like Enrage or something. That one attack can actually make a bit of a difference. So why on earth is this team 3 Gob Choppers? Does he just hate goblins that much that he wanted to set his defense team to just pure anti-goblin? Though if he is doing that, why on earth would he put a High Forge on there? Doesn't make much sense. Also, why on earth did they ever add this troop? I still don't understand. It is so ridiculously weak. It gives itself a small amount of life, barriers, then deals a static 8 damage to an enemy. Like, they saw what the problem was with Dark Master, and then they're like, okay, let's go make another troop exactly like him. Oh no, never mind. I forgot. They actually fixed Dark Master. Really? So they fixed Dark Master because they were like, okay, yeah, we've kept this too long. It has had a static value that was just absolutely useless. I think he used to do like 6 damage, not boosted by magic. But then they finally made him boosted by magic. And then they were like, okay, let's go do exactly what we just did with Dark Master. It does have a static 8 damage that never does anything useful because 8 damage is so ridiculously low once you scale it up to late game. Even in early game, you'd barely use that. That is so little damage. Because burn, you just use a burn. Just like literally anything that's burn would be more damage. Even if it did no damage other than the burn. Oh, sorry, Sipalom, what was your question? I kind of read it, but then didn't finish reading it. Let's see, you only have one Fanessa. You tried to get more, and you got Salinas in one event key. Oh, you actually got both of them? Well, you could go, well, if you're doing raids, you can use Mang, the raid troop, King Salinas, and Fanessa, and that would work as your team. That wouldn't work for the class event. Oh, wait, never mind. The class event's already over. It was only yesterday. For whatever reason, I thought it was like a weekend-long one. No, but it's only the day one. But, yeah, if you're going to be using it for for raids, which I assume what you're using it for, yeah, just run Mang, what did I just say? It was Mang, the raid troop, King Salinas, and, Fanessa in last slot. And that'd be your team. And you would only need one Fanessa for that, which is how many you have currently. How do you get the weapon I'm using right now? It is currently impossible to obtain, unfortunately. Well, not impossible to obtain. It's currently possible to obtain. It used to be possible. They're going to be adding some way, shape, or form into the game to obtain old event weapons. But at the current moment in time, there are many event weapons that have only ever really been available once. And this is one of those weapons, unfortunately. It's essentially the best weapon in the entire game, locked behind the fact that almost no one crafted it. Because when it was first released, it was near useless. Only people who were collectionists who bothered to get every piece of content in the game really bothered to get it. And now, because of the divine meta, it has managed to become the best weapon in the game. And unfortunately, it's unobtainable. Nothing I could really do about that, though. Only they can. It's not my fault they made the best weapon unobtainable. But yeah, unless you got that from the event like 2.5 months ago, there's no way to obtain it as of currently. But no worries, you can easily use this team with a Mercy. And if you still wanted to use your hero, replace Ubistet with Mountain Crusher, and then just use Mercy, Mountain Crusher, and that would be your team. Same general premise, it just doesn't use this particular weapon. Still pretty much just as good, it's just slightly weaker. Though you get a lot quicker of a start since you can just first turn Mercy. And occasionally it can even win quicker than the team we're using right now. Since first turn Mercy can give you a pretty big advantage. Alright, let's move this over, throw a double kill, get those two out. Aw, you know what, I probably should have Furnace first. This is not too big a deal to do that. And with how low his HP is, that kills him out immediately. Wouldn't Earth's Fury be better than for raids and evasion than Mang? For invasion, yes. For raids, no. And most of the time, for neither, technically, no. It depends exactly how you're going to be running your team and what you have available. But for invasions, yes, I could definitely see the argument being made that it could definitely be better in evasions. Though in raids, Mang is always better. There isn't a single instance where Mang would be weaker than Earth's Fury in raids. Simply because you need to rush down the entire enemy team as quickly as possible. And the easiest way to do that is with one really heavy Mang, get to raid boss, and then one-shotting the rest of the team with like Titan or something, Titan hero class, using the Mang. Okay, we're actually gonna go for another Infernus here because it should die out. I was hoping another one would die out. And we can just do it off of that, and then just Ubistat kill the rest of the team, and that'll be that. You got Ravens to get all 8 rounds? Wow. Very nice. Yeah, you can get super, super lucky with Val Raven sometimes, where you just keep getting them almost back to back to back. It's really nice. Very rare that that does happen, though. I'll move that down. Also, anyone just getting here, there is a poll, first link in the description. Also, let me just copy paste the link as well. If you go open this in a new tab, it's a poll on what the best mythic in the game is. And if you could answer it, it would be great and very helpful. Someone posted on the forum and figured we'd do a video on it probably next weekend after next mythic comes out. We've kind of gone over it many times before, like what mythics are worth crafting. But I've never made like a top 10 list, like, hey, here are 10 you should probably craft in this order. But yeah, we'll be doing it based on that poll. So if any of you want to give feedback on it, based on what you think is the best, feel free to do so. Good morning, Dragon Ball Z fan. Welcome. Now, let's just get a poke in here. Who's the biggest threat? They all are. It's a Divine team. Everything is the biggest threat. I'll go and throw that down. Though in that time, it actually was Infernus. Normally it's Infernus or Ubistat. Occasionally it's Dawnbringer. What's he gonna do? Get a bunch of barriers. Not too big a deal. Infernus will just clear them. And then we try getting one nice big poke on it somehow. I don't think we have it, so we'll move that over. See what else we can take around. And Ubistat for the kill, and dead. It has the reduction by 20%. That's not going to help you survive instant kill. And down it goes. You have found Flesh Ripper to be better for the current raid than Mank. It definitely can be. Flesh Ripper does a lot of true damage all in one go. So I guess technically with Finessa that could actually be pretty useful, wouldn't it? Yeah, I haven't really used Flesh Ripper too much. Even though it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's the highest amount of true damage you can do with any hero weapon to a single target. It's not overall the best damage, because you can still do crescendo for it. But as far as single target, it ends up working out the best. Alright, what else do we need to move around? We'll take a yellow. Take the purple over. Soon at getting all that HP. Really, that better not be enough HP to survive. And it is. Oh, we still have to poke it one time now. And down it goes. Why do I think Infernus is best mythic? I do think he's best mythic. When did I say he wasn't? I voted for Infernus. I don't think I voted for Ubistat, though, just so it would go a little bit lower, because I knew everyone would go for Ubistat. But, no, I definitely voted for Infernus on that poll. Infernus is by far the best mythic in the entire game. By a very, 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 very excessively large margin. Like, he's completely unparalleled to just about anything. He does 12 damage per turn to every single enemy. He has really good loot potential. And he just gets mana every single time. He has the burn into he has the explosion into a storm combination. He's the best burn in the game. And pretty much everything he has going for him is really good. The only thing that isn't good about him is he's from Broken Spire, which almost everything in Broken Spire other than him is useless. So it's the only thing really bringing him back. Also, his other typing, Elemental. Very occasionally there are some teams that can actually do okay with Elemental. Though more often than not, I don't know, unless you're running Giant Elemental team, that's the only kind of Elemental that tends to be decent. I don't think there's a normal 4x Elemental that uses no Giants. I don't believe. Though if there ever was, Infernus would definitely be the one you would use with it. Okay, I wish that would break its barrier. It will next turn do the burn. So that breaks the barriers for us. And then we just do that, and down it goes. Do you have a video with the weapons you should upgrade first? Yes, we've been meaning to do that soon. But it's basically Divine Protector, Mountain Crusher, Mang, or any Mang-like weapon you wish to use. As well as Staff of Madness if you have it. Though a lot of people don't have that one. And Black Manacle isn't too bad. Bronze Lock Pistol is decent. Anu Scepter is decent. And yeah, we'll be doing a video on it soon. Soon, TM. Hopefully this weekend I'll be able to get out at least one. Also, today's the last day I have the house all to myself. Unfortunately. It was nice, but... let's see. What was the giant team for Titan that I mentioned the other day? It is Yarrow Firemantle, Fire Giants, hero using Dawnbringer or any purple weapon, either or. Ideally Dawnbringer, but if you use a purple weapon, you cover every color. If you are going to go down the purple weapon route, use something like Black Manacle. And the other one is Hindla. I forget her full name. That one green-blue giant that summons giants from Stormheim. That one. And that would be your team. Wait, why is he... What on earth is the team he's using right now? It's such an odd team to be using. It's funny he's using Death Knight with it, too. They really should have given Death Knight, like, Apocalypse bonus. I know that would have been useless. But, I don't know. Thematically, it just seemed like it would kind of work. I guess the Apocalypse Kingdom will eventually be getting Apocalypse bonus, I guess. It just seems so weird that they gave another knight into the game. Same as they gave a second giant. There's 2 giants and there's 2 knights. And they just make the other one useless. Death Knight makes normal knight useless, and Titan makes Warlord useless. Yeah, Hindla Frostcrown was her name. That's it. Yeah, Death Kneel is pretty decent too. It ends up getting a double explosion into poke damage onto weakest. So you could easily use it to kill out. And that double explosion makes it so you can get a pretty substantial amount of mana. You're probably getting about 6 to 7 of your mana back every single time, which is pretty cool. Yeah, you could use Crescendo for that. That would actually preserve your turn too, which would be kind of cool. Nothing else on your team does true damage, but yeah, you'd be able to use it to preserve your turn. What else do we need to move around here? Almost all of it looks bad. We'll smooth that one over. Go and try getting a nothing down because we don't have enough damage. So we'll throw Infernus. This should bring somebody into kill range, and then we can just and go from there. Very nice. And it'll be set time. Take that. Get our double kill. Then we have to deal with Infernus. Go gain barrier. Get the last of our mana. Take another poke. Did we throw Infernus here? I don't think there's enough brown to really get away with it, so we'll just take poke. We'll just set him here. If that's not enough, we Infernus and then dead. He'll take a skull or not, and dead. Crescendo, yes, Crescendo is currently in the shop. We ended up going over that earlier, and yes, it is indeed worth crafting, the Crescendo. It's one of the best unobtainable weapons in the game. It currently doesn't have much of a purpose within the game, because true damage is relatively weak at the moment. But if true damage ever made a comeback, it is the best true damage weapon in the game, not counting the Mang-like weapons. If you ignore all the Mang-like weapons, it's the strongest true damage weapon in the game. And as far as the AoE true damage is concerned, it's definitely the strongest in the game. What is he doing with Assassin? He's got to kill out of nowhere. Well, let's go kill Oopstet, get that out of the way. Oh no! Our 6 extra damage made it so we kill him. That's a fail. I'm going to wait a turn before I cast. He'll die to burn. Then we can Oopstet into Infernus. Oh, he's got backup. Luckily, that actually does more damage to him. The fact that he just got backup actually made it so he does more damage to himself. That's kind of funny. Oh no, he just backed up again though. Because now that it has another target, instead of just hitting onto... Oh wait, never mind. It does less damage. My bad. It does more damage overall, but it does less damage specifically to him. So I guess if that was Guild Wars, that would have been useful, but never mind. In normal PvP, that actually does do slightly less damage. Yeah, I meant buying, not crafting it. Yeah, my bad. But yeah, it is definitely worth getting a Crescendo if you have $5 to spare. because we have no clue when they're actually going to be adding all those old weapons back to the game by normal means. And even once they do, it's probably going to be pretty expensive to get them. But we don't know. Won't know until it happens. I'm really surprised you just haven't added a few on rotation to the Soulforge. That seems like the easiest way to do it. Like, they added Soulforge for a reason. I still don't understand that. Like, when they were advertising Soulforge, it really seemed like they were going to... oh, for a second I thought that was a pet gnome. No, that was just someone else in my guild getting a pet. And we just got a normal treasure gnome. But anyways, what was I going on about? I was going on about, oh yeah, weapons. When they first added Soulforge, I kind of just assumed that since they were making mention of all those weapons and everything in Soulforge, that they were going to add all the old weapons to Soulforge. But now it's been, like, what, a year since Soulforge? How long has it even been at this point? I don't even remember. But it's been a while. But they still haven't even done the old weapons back to Soulforge yet. It just seems really weird. Okay, anyways, poke it and dead. Any weapon that was available to purchase with real money will never be available to craft. Did they make mention of that? They did say something about that. Though they also said that they were going to try doing the old event weapons back into the thing. But I don't know. They've said 2 or 3 different things on the matter. So I don't know which one's their official position at this point. The Ellcarjen keeps saying something different than what Salty is saying during her streams. So I don't know which one is correct. I assume Surian is. Let's see. I'll go and throw that one down. And there we go. But yeah, the way that Surian said it is that there would be several weapons that would never be craftable. And then everything else would be, eventually. Like all the ones that come through like raids and invasions. But the way that Salty said it, she said it in a way that made it seem like every single weapon in the game would be eventually craftable. Okay, we'll go and take the red over. Take blue. Grab another little hit there. And it just killed out. But they said that they would end up adding enough newer weapons to the game that Kingdoms would still be covered. But of course, there's still the problem with Kingdoms now that it's not being covered. Because I think some of them still need 2 for like, what, 7-star or something? You need like 2 fully maxed weapons. And first you need to own 2 from the Kingdom, but then you also need to own 2 that are somewhat lower enough rarity that you can actually upgrade 2 of them. Alright, let's get another Infernus down. And down it goes. Sorry to repeat the question. Oh, sorry. Wait, what was your other thing you mentioned? You pulled a Yagway a few days ago, back when you really liked it. What is the best Yagway team that uses no mythics? You're using Gorgotha, Flame Troll, Yagway, and Queen Titania. Well, Yagway with Queen Titania is definitely a really nice combo. I actually even like using it just with Alchemist Hellcat, and just run with the Alchemist Hellcat loop into the 2 of them, or even Alchemist Moneylender, which is even cheaper. Alchemist Moneylender, Yagway, Queen Titania is pretty strong. Other than that, what you're already using is pretty high up there. It's really durable and safe. Other than that, you can use... thinking. What's the other thing that... Oh, Divinia. You can end up incorporating Divinia into the team so that you keep giving it HP. And you can basically use it for Red Guild War Day that way as well. But basically you use Divinia, and every single time you cast with it, you're gaining a pretty substantial amount of extra damage on Yagway, since he does 1 additional damage every 3 life. And that's technically an additional 2 damage every 3 life, because of course he hits 2 targets. But yeah, what you're already using is pretty much one of the better teams that you could use for it. It's either that, Alchemist Moneylender in front of it, Alchemist Hellcat in front of it, or some version of Divinia red, pure red, into it with your hero class. That's the only thing that team really is missing, though. You're not really using your hero on that team. It's not really, like, required to, but of course you get a lot of free XP if you were to do that. Because that's how you end up leveling all the hero classes these days, is by actually using them in your team itself. It's impossible to gain hero XP without using your hero in the team. Okay, why is his stats so high? Oh, because everything has 20% this week. Or not everything, but you know, his entire team. What's even the biggest threat? I guess the silence? Our hero can't be silenced, but our other core troops can, so we'll do that. Get a explosion everywhere. That should be enough damage because of how much higher attack he has to kill it out. And now we just repeat the cycle again, and that'll be that. Unless he kills little Dawnbringer, we could actually lose this. We'll take a skull over. Get an extra turn so he dies. We already lost because you go take skull. We already lost. He just won with Dawnbringer. 20% Dawnbringer. Apparently hits pretty hard this week. That makes sense.
Mana surge.
Well, technically all these weapons were eventually, or were at one point free, but of course you'd had to have been playing for like ages upon ages upon ages upon ages upon ages ago. Like Savasi Blades came out 3.5 years ago. That is how old some of them are. Like Savasi Blade, Silent Knight, that one Celestial Staff thing that's ultra rare, which actually I think is pretty useful to upgrading White Helm if I'm not mistaken. Those things were like all 3+ years ago, or 3.5+ years ago. So very few of them have ever been available since, other than maybe like those 5-hour pack thingies or whatever they came in from, if even that. But I think they added 2 or 3 ultra rare weapons that are like that, which actually probably would be somewhat useful for upgrading kingdoms, since they are lower cost. But it's these few. Where do I go for that? Troops. Go under this category, weapons, do it by base rarity. Well, any rarity. They can't go any higher in rarity. But let me go down to, where to go? Ultra rares. There was like that one divine one, and then there was some other one, I believe. But there was, yeah, this one. Wait, was this the only one they ever added? Yeah, they added Celestial Staff. It's one of the earlier ones. This came out with, what's her name? Celestacia ended up coming out with, which was pretty cool. But, yeah, this is one of the White Helm ones, which would actually help upgrade the kingdom pretty nice. Though I think that's the only ultra rare one that ever came in. Oh, I never even noticed that. That's the only ultra rare kind of exclusive weapon that ever came. And obviously there was none for commons and none for rares. And there was only that one for ultra rare. And for epics there were the Wrench, Savasi Blades, so that's been available several times. Sun Charm, Skull Cleaver, Silent Knight, though that's been available several times. I forget if Soul Trap is it? I can't remember. I know Prey Seeker is. What other ones? Frost Reaver, if I'm not mistaken. Farsight Orb. Eternal Flame, which when it first came out was actually the best weapon in the entire game. Deep Stone. Crimson Insognia. Forget if Chaos Blade is. Chain Flail. Bull Roar and Boom Boom. Wow, that's like 1/4 the weapons of epic rarity were from that. And then on to legendary. We might as well go over all of them right now, just so everyone knows what they are. But for legendary, it's Yasmin's Chalice. Also, I will be ignoring all of the raid-like ones. Well, I don't know. Maybe I should mention that. This was Raider Invasion. This is an old Glory one. Old Glory. Let's see. Invasion/raid. Let's see. Old Glory one. I believe they've also had it available for cash several times. Old Glory one. Old Glory one for 2016. You can tell this one's old. That was given out at the beginning of 2016. Let's see what other ones. Sleigh Bells. Do you get that normally? I forget if you do. I believe you normally do. Which other ones were there? Order and Chaos, which is Old Glory one. And any others? Any others? Oh, Merchant's Blade was an Old Glory. Actually, a pretty recent Old Glory. I think that was 2017 Christmas, I want to say. It was around the time when they ended up handing that out, if I'm not mistaken. Fire and Ice is a really good Old Glory. This is basically what Mang used to be. A smaller version of Mang, which is pretty cool. Wish they would have added this to be available, because it would be a good replacement for Mang. Flesh Ripper was an old raid/invasion. Festival Staff, I believe, was one of them. Oh, no, that was from the New Kingdom. Never mind. Oh wait, no, this came out through one of the things. This was actually the most recent glory weapon they ever added to the game, was Festival Staff. I remember now. Earth's Fury is a old Raid Invasion. Divine Protector is an old Raid Evasion, same as the Elemental Bow. Wait, they made an Elemental version of this? Oh wait, we might need to go make an Elemental team out of that one day. With Infernus. What color does it create? Oh, it creates blue and green. No wonder why I never use it. None of those two colors are useful. Crescendo's an Old Glory. It's also available for $5 right now. And what other ones? Bone Shield is an old Raid Invasion. Same as Beastly Bow. And that's it. Oh, and Bakchon Deo, I believe, was one too. Oh, no. You get that from the event thingy. I mean, from the 4040. Never mind. But yeah. And other than that, no mythic weapons are actually exclusive, other than, I guess, technically Dawnbringer. And it's not exclusive, it just costs a ridiculous amount of resources. But, yeah, okay, so that's all of them. That's all the event weapons. I probably missed a few that I kind of just glanced over when I was going through all of them. That's pretty much most of the old event stuff that isn't really obtainable by other means. Anyways, let's head back to PvP. Good morning, M78. Welcome. Did they show next week's troops? Yes, we always have access to next week's troops. They didn't make the official post on them, but yeah, I can go over them real quick. Next week's troops, what do they do? So, the first troop, it's Blighted Lands, or I mean, it's Bright Forest. Next week is the event. The first one is a brown-green ultra rare. This one will be available for glory. It deals magic +3 damage to an enemy, boosted by ally Fae and ally Beasts at a 4x boost ratio. So this is going to be pretty decent early on in the game because that's a lot of extra damage just to get for free from using a bunch of those typings within your team. And it also gains 5 souls every single cast it does. So it even gives you a little bit of souls. So really good early game kind of troop. It has Fey Bond, it has Agile, which is 20% dodge, and has Mana Shield, which is immune to all those mana drains and everything. Mana Burn, Mana Drain, and Mana Steal. The other one is just standard raid troop. It deals... whoa. Wait. That is not a standard invasion troop. It destroys an enemy's armor, deals magic +2 damage if they are a tower, and then deals 3 times to 5 times damage based on Ascension. Oh, wow, I didn't notice that. This guy's actually really good. He gets to destroy all of their armor and then do true damage to them at a ridiculously high amount. That is almost going to one-shot them because of how much damage that would do. That seems a little bit towards the overpowered side for... invasion this week, or next week, I mean. But, yeah, that has a lot of potential. Other than that, it has Nature's Death, so it summons a Leaf Storm when an enemy dies, which is also good. It reduces skull damage by 33%, which is also good. And, of course, the standard 3 times to 5 times the towers, based on Ascension. But, that's actually going to be pretty nice. And other than that, we're getting a new Mythic next Friday. And as far as what that Mythic does, it's a green, purple, yellow troop. It is a monster elf, if I'm not mistaken. The spoiler thread says divine, but they've changed it to not be divine. It webs all enemies, which makes them have 0 magic for a short duration of time until it gets cleansed off. Then it deals magic +5 true damage to the last 2 enemies. And if it ends up getting a kill, it explodes 15 gems, which is a lot. And it does that for 20 mana. It has 3 traits, well, obviously. It has Stealthy, so it can't be targeted. It has Impervious, so it's immune to basically everything, or almost everything. And its final trait is actually very useless. All it is a 50% chance to summon a Tome Spider when an enemy dies. If that was Giant Spider, that'd be a different story. But Tome Spider basically just blocks it. I think I'm going to deliberately not fully trade it, unless it becomes required to get to star level. But its final traits actually makes it weaker, not stronger, which is unfortunate. There hasn't been a Mythic that has done that ever since any of them, really. I think Dragon Soul and a few other troops kind of had one, where the final trait made it weaker, not stronger, in the past, so they fixed that, of course. But yeah, this Mythic, the The final trait it's getting makes it weaker, not stronger. It's really odd, but that is how it is. It's not like necessarily weaker, it's just the thing that it summons does almost nothing and it blocks its mana. Alright, we'll just throw that down. And we just need one little poke and that'll be that. Oh, was it Damon's Leash? I forget if it was which one it was. I know it was pretty recent, that one, Festival one. Damon's Leash might have been a little bit more recent, I forget. They're both like back to back to each other. Is it me, or have they added nothing but green troops for a while? They do tend to have tendencies like that. One thing that used to be plaguing the game quite a bit was an excess of red. When Trait Stones first came out, there was a ridiculous excess of reds, and then they started to try to get all the other colors in there. So maybe they're still trying to rebalance that by making a lot of greens. I'm not sure. It could also just be because of the type of kingdoms that they're doing kingdom events for. Sometimes they'll just go do a lot of greens back to back, or a lot of blues back to back, or a lot of reds back to back. It really just depends on the kingdom types. Because of course a lot of kingdoms tend to have like the same types in it. As far as coloration. Like Pan's Veil has a lot of green and yellow. Trying to think of names of places. Blighted Lands has a lot of red and purple. Karkaroth has a lot of purple and blue. Kedar has a lot of purple and blue. Whitehelm has a lot of yellow. Kazale has a lot of brown. Basically, whatever their banner thingy is basically what the Kingdom bids have a lot of, for the most part. Oh, he's about to get silence on me, isn't he? Never mind, we can take Skull. I almost just let him have that. Luckily, our hero has immune, but still, we want to get rid of that. Get the double kill, throw Infernus down, and see if we can get a little bit more poke on him. And never mind, he already died. God, that was already enough damage. Oh, you know what? We keep getting all these ingots. Let me go craft all of these. I've been hoarding these almost all week, and I don't even think I've bothered switching them over. Or maybe not all week. Oh, also, I forgot to go do Yeti. Should probably go do that. But let me go craft my... oh, wait, that's the correct location. Let me go craft my little ingots into their things and see if we can actually upgrade something. So 18. I must have done this somewhat recently then. I guess we did it the other day. But we'll go convert that over, convert that over. That's 7 more that we can now use. So let's go use those 7 on something. Let's see what we have to go upgrade. We should have enough to go do a weapon. Let's just do the next weapon we see. Here we go, Axe of Chaos, boom. Let's go max out an Axe of Chaos, and there we go, Axe of Chaos maxed. And we're almost there. If I'm not mistaken, that marks the halfway mark of us getting every mythic weapon, I wish, every ultra rare weapon maxed. That's the wrong category, isn't it? Yes, it is. Let me go and double check that real quick. If we go under rarity, and then go check the downwards, we should be at exact half right now. Or technically slightly past it since we have 2 currently sitting in our inventory. But let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16. Yep, we are at exactly 8. So we have reached the halfway point now of getting all the ultra rare weapons upgraded. Sweet. Which means we probably have like 3 weeks to a month of doing these until we get them all maxed. And then we work on to epic ones, which we currently only have 1 maxed because I want to go craft some of them into legendary ingots. So we have like none of them sitting around. But yeah, we got a whiles to go. 1 maxed and several billion more. But slowly but surely we shall reach getting to that point. And if nothing else, once we have all the ultra rares done, that means all of our ultra rares then crafts into epics, and you know, the process. Commons to rares, rares to epics. Rares to ultra rares, ultra rare to epic, so on and so forth, until we finally reach mythics. But that's gonna be like forever from now. It's we're never gonna finish legendaries. Legendaries are gonna be in the current state of the game. Even if we buy those packs every single week, it's gonna take like a year before we get all legendaries done. And then we have what on ever earth the mythics are going to be. Mythic weapons are going to take so long, especially since they keep adding more and more mythics to the game, basically. Every single 6 weeks, they're going to be adding a new mythic weapon. Not a real mythic weapon like Dawnbringer, but a fake mythic weapon, like the ones from all these hero classes, which are normally 100% useless, because for whatever reason, they only ever cover 1 color. So they're all almost useless, but still. They keep adding one every 6 weeks because that's about when they add a new hero class every single time.
Like, not next Friday, but 3 Fridays from now, we should be getting a new hero class. What that hero class is, I have not the slightest clue, but we should be getting one then. Hello, AJ. Welcome. You think the best looping team is Carnix, Behemoth, Princess Fizzbang, and Dragon Soul? What do you think? Oh, current best loop. If the only thing you cared about was loop and nothing else other than loop, Alchemist, Moneylender, Double Goblin Rocket is the best loop team in the entire game by a pretty large margin. It's not the best team in the game by any stretch, mainly because it wins relatively slow, particularly this late in the game. But as far as just sheer loopiness, as far as infinite looping, it has the highest potential of any team in the entire game, from what I am aware of. It's relatively slow, though. But all you do is just go get Alchemist up immediately, throw that down, get Moneylender up, throw that down, then you won. All you just do is keep doing Goblin Rocket into getting those manas right back up, keep doing the mana generation over and over again, and Goblin Rockets just slowly chip them down over time. It's also a pretty good way to go about doing a red or yellow Guild War Day. You can use Alchemist with triple Goblin Rocket, or Hellcat with triple Goblin Rocket, depending on the color day. Of course, the Alchemist one for red day, and the Hellcat one for yellow day. And you can end up rolling down that way and win out both those days relatively easily with that team. It doesn't score the absolute highest, but if you don't have more expensive Legends or Mythics, it's the best way to really tackle those 2 Guild War days. Especially if they're not running freeze. Hey, we found another pet. Oh, that pet gnome just reminded me. I still have to go do the current pet we have, don't we? I should probably go do that before I keep forgetting it. It's the Yeti 2, which is one of the more recent pets. So that means we also have less copies of it, most likely. So definitely want to get on top of that. Did they say anything about patching the extra turn problem? It's very annoying. I assume they're going to be working on it. I haven't heard anything specifically mentioned about fixing it, but I assume they will. They are aware of the glitch, so it's only a matter of them actually fixing it now. Well, that tribute was better than before. Still relatively low, though, but we'll take it. Better than nothing. Anyways, let me go do that pet before I forget this guy. We already forgot him for 23 minutes, so let's go and do him real quick. Oh, you just got a Hellcat 2 days ago. Very nice. Yeah, he's one of the core 6 converters. The core 6 are, let's see, Valkyrie, Greenseer, Giant Spider, Alchemist, Hellcat, and Apothecary. Those are the core 6 converters in the game, with the best ones generally being things like, well, all of them, actually. Almost all of them are used in particular teams. Greenseer is used for, let's see. Or what is the best thing that each one is used for? Valkyrie is used for soul farming, as well as with things like Azura, which you can get for free from the Merlantis Kingdom. The Apothecary is used really heavily with Gorgoltha and just about really anything that uses a lot of brown. Well, obviously all of them use it into their color, but it has a nice cleanse, which is normally used as early game cleanse option. Greenseer you tend to use with Tyree for infinite map farming. Which ones did I miss? Giant Spider is normally just used into a Dragon Soul for the same thing, just for soul farming. And which one did I miss? Did that. Alchemist and Hellcat are basically just used together in the infinite loops that you would use with it. Either with the early game version of Double Goblin Rocket or with the late game version of Yagwe Queen Titania. And other than that, that's all 6 of them. So yeah, that's that. Of course, they can be used with anything into their own color. Basically, anytime you need more of that color, you would end up using one of those converters. You'd always want to make sure at least 2 of those colors are on your team, though. So if you're using a Valkyrie, you want to make sure you have at least 2 blues on the team. If you're only using 1, it's kind of a waste to bother using one of the converters, because at that point, you'd probably be better off just using the Exploder. Oh, we'll let him skull poke us. Let him have that. Go for a little poke here, get that down, chip it down a little bit. Yeah, Legend has the most amount that you would ever need, but Mythics are still harder, just because it takes way, way, way longer to actually get them. Because if you break down
how many legendary ingots you need to get every mythic weapon. Mythic weapons actually require a lot more. I forget what the exact number is, but it's definitely more. Actually, I never did do the math on that. You said it's 3,600 ingots. We get 21 per week, twice of those weeks. Let's just say every week, because if you count all the other ones we get in between. So let's just assume then that we get 20 per week. We buy those packs to get 21 on those other 2 weeks. And then we just make up the other difference by getting them normally from the PvP stuff and just any other means we get them from. So let's just assume 20 per week. That's 80 per month. How long would that take to obtain every weapon? This is how many months it would take. Wait, why does this math seem wrong? Because that would take that would take 3.5 years in the current setup of the game. Something seems mathematically wrong, or is it really that hard? Hold up. If that math is correct, that is 3.5 years. Approximately, give or take. But, wow. I actually didn't bother doing the math on that. But, yeah, that's a long time. And that's just for the legendary ones. It's not even counting mythic ones. Though they are adding some kind of new minigame next patch that should, they haven't said that it is, but it's most likely going to be, I don't know, stream went down. We're back. Sorry about that. What I was saying was the minigame next patch should hopefully be pretty ingot oriented. They said for sure that it's going to be reward, getting ingots from it. They didn't say how big of a reward it is, but hopefully that will speed up the whole farming process of them. You don't have a Fair-Shara or Umberwolf? Well, Fair-Shara can be replaced with Azurus or Warlock or literally anything with Necromancy. And Umberwolf can either be replaced with another Necromancy, or you can replace it with Necromancer hero class using a Darkstorm. And what are you using? You're using Dragon Soul, Double Azurus, and Keeper of Souls. I'd probably say Dragon Soul, Double Azurus, and use your Necromancer set to a Purple Storm, and go from there. Because you end up getting a decent amount of souls and everything from that. But, I guess Keeper of Souls is technically fine. Though at that point, you might as well just go with third Azurus. Oh, never mind. You said you only have 2 Azuruses. But, yeah, what you're already using, or you could use Necromancer there. Just so you get hero XP. Because you would end up getting a lot of hero XP that way. If you use it for the... If you do all of your soul farming with Necromancer, you would end up maxing out your Necromancer and get a lot of souls in the process, to say the least. But, yeah, I would highly advise some point in trying to get up to max souls, or, you know, max souls is in everything fully leveled and getting Dawnbringer, which is technically max souls at the moment, essentially. But in working towards that, you definitely at some point in between all that want to get Necromancer leveled up to max. And you'd probably want to do it sooner than later, because later on you'd probably just use Umberwolf instead of using Necromancer. At the lower level ranges, you definitely want to use the Necromancer, because you get better value out of it then. Because later on, you'd probably want to be using other hero classes anyways, for raids and invasions and stuff, and guild wars. Can you suggest a couple of teams for Plague? There is no team that works with Plague. He's just never really used. If you were to use Plague, the team would basically be frontline tank, Valkyrie, Azura, and Plague, and that's about it. You would never actually use Plague in your team. He's way too slow to win with. You can use him on your defend, just kind of troll people and to somewhat make okay teams. But he's way, way, way too slow to use and inconsistent to use for normal PvP. The only thing he's really good on is constantly mass disabling the enemy team. But that's about it. Let's see. At what level did I get my first Mythic? I don't know what level it was, but I got the first Mythic when it was first launched. Because Mythics always didn't exist, of course. When the game launched, the highest rarity was Legendary. And highest level was actually level 10 when the game first launched. Then it was moved to 15. And then when Mythics came out, it was moved to 20. But yeah, for the longest of time, highest level was 15. But when the game first started, it was only 10. And no Mythics existed. But yeah, I got War like the day it launched or something. Well, actually, if I'm not mistaken, I have gotten every Mythic that has ever came into this game the day of release. I don't think there's been a single one that I didn't get day of release. So whatever day War came out, and whatever level I was then, I want to say level 900. There's actually an easy way to cheat that. I can go find the video I did on War when it first launched. We can go cheat right now. I want to say it's level 937. How much you want to make a bet that's almost correct? Actually, I have no clue what it's going to be, but let me go check. Let's see. Gems of War, War. Gems of War, War. Let's see. Gems of War, Mythic. There it is, War. Let's see. I got close. I was level 922. I said 9 something something. Well, I was right. It was in the 900s. I knew it was somewhere around there. But yeah, level 922 is the level we were when we got the first Mythic in the game, which was first day War. Aw, it feels so good seeing that gem stack. We had like a 16,000 something gem stack then. Actually, didn't get our gem stacks almost that big these days. But back then, it was so easy to maintain. You were getting like a few thousand gems per week. Get gems a lot slower these days. Anyways, yeah, we were level 922. I cheated. Okay, we'll go and throw Infernus down. I got pretty close without checking, though. You just can't pull to King Mikhail. He was buffed a couple patches ago. He's still, for the most part, not really used. The reason he was actually buffed is because Gorgotha is superior to literally every other brown-yellow in the game. And that includes King Mikhail, unfortunately. But yeah, he's okay in some enraged teams. Though more often than not at this point, due to hero classes being updated, if you needed a mechanic like Mikhail, you would normally just use your hero in first slot with any of the heroes that have enrage on extra turn instead. There really isn't much of a need to use King Mikhail anymore in the current state of the game, which is probably one of the other reasons why they planned on buffing him and did buff him. But yeah, I wouldn't really bother with him much. He's not horrible. It's just every other brown-yellow is almost better than him. There's just too many good brown-yellows that he kind of just gets never used. But yeah, he's perfectly fine in first slot. You can kind of use him as a damaging Gorgotha. He's not as good for mana generation, but he obviously does way more damage. Yeah, it's not a troop you should focus on too much, but if you don't have other options, it's definitely better than quite a few things that you may have. And if you pair it with an Apothecary, you can get a pretty substantial amount of damage constantly going from it. Okay, was that enough Yetis to actually get an upgrade? No, it is not. Wow, he's already a legend? How did this guy go from, like, not owning him to higher than things we've had for ages now? Maybe they make the drop rate of them slightly higher? I don't know. Then again, we still haven't gotten that many Wormlings, yet hasn't that been out even longer than him? It's confusing. But I guess we just got unlucky on some of them. Like, even Coca-Cola Bear, wasn't that the last one we got? Yeah, we even made sure to mark him as last, just so we knew. Yeah, he's super low, but then again, there's still things that are even lower than that. I don't know, it's weird. Anyways. I still have yet to get a natural mythic pet as well, which is kind of weird as well. We have gotten some, but they were... I mean, we have gotten one, but we ended up throwing some gems at that one, so that doesn't really count. You tried running Corvash, Greenseer, Giant Spider, Plague, and it worked okay. Normally, if you're going to run a Plague team, you want to make sure that you're generating into 2 troops and not just into Plague, because it'll be too slow if you just do it into just Plague. That's why I mentioned the Azura thing earlier with Valkyrie, because that gives you Azura to try to use your damage for. It also gives you the double stat reduction mechanic, where both of them ends up reducing the stats of the enemy.
They're both the best two stat reducers in the game. Zur is the absolute best, oddly enough, even though she's a free Kingdom Epic. And the second best is, of course, Plague. Plague does more in one cast, but Azura is so spammy that it technically does more reduction overall, even though it doesn't do as much per cast. Okay, we'll go and... I'll just go throw it on you. Get rid of Orion. Throw in Furnace just to clean him up. Or not. How did that not hit him at all? Really? That's slightly unfortunate, because now we're going to waste this slightly. But one skull will take it out. Also, it is so stormy outside. Wow, out of nowheres too. It's such a nice day, it looked like, that it's still managing to storm. I still don't understand how that can happen sometimes. Like, almost completely clear sky. Like, not completely, but almost clear sky. And it's like, oh, it's thundering. How? I never understood that about, like, down south by the shore. Like, out of nowhere, it's like, oh, hey, storm. Okay, anyways, going to penguins. He's got the penguin army. We got Happy Feet over here. We'll go and, what do we need? I guess we'll go get the full mana. Take the blue. See if we can get a nice cast down. He's close to us, it's fine. Grab the full mana, throw in Furnace dead. And I'll just clean everything if it hits correctly, and it doesn't, of course, because why would it ever? And then Ubistet dead. And there we go. Oh yeah, let me go double check how much time's on the pet, in case we do find a pet gnome, just so I know if we need to wait or keep going. Let's see, what's the timer on you? Let me leave it here for a second, so I notice it later. It is 22 minutes. So if I double check this in like 20 minutes, we'll know. Or any time if we find another one. Also, while we're here, let's go do dungeons real quick, so I don't forget them later. Welcome to the South, I know, right? Yeah, I never really thought of myself as like living in the South. But at this point, I've almost lived more in the South than I have in the North at this point. Though I did live my childhood in the North, but let's see. What's the total amount of time in both? Let's see, 13 years, then college, so about 16 years. Okay, so I still have lived more in the North then. I've lived about 16 years in the North, and I've lived the rest in the South, which is 7, almost 8 years now. So yeah, never mind. I've lived 2/3 of my life up north and 1/3 of my life down south. Yeah, we'll go and take that down. Get the hit. Yeah, I should probably live in another state sometime too. I don't even know which one I would want to go to if I was to actually like choose literally any state. Because I've mainly only lived in 2 states. New Jersey and South Carolina. I believe, no, mainly just those 2. I think there was like one other one when I was like 1 year old, but of course I barely even remember it. I can't even think of what state it is. I remember it so little. But yeah, basically just South Carolina and New Jersey are the only 2 states I've really lived in. And I still have yet to leave Eastern Standard Time Zone too. I still need to do that sometime. That would feel so weird once I finally do leave it though, because I'll totally lose track of time once I do. But I've been all the way up and down it, as south is Florida and as north is Toronto, Canada. But I still have yet to leave the time zone. Now, let me take the brown over. Take Skull over. Throw in Furnace at it. And we'll just poke it dead. Actually, I probably should have aimed at something else, but he's still going to die to that burn, so it's fine. And then we just Ubistek kill it. And dead. Yeah, I could barely even sleep last night because it was so hot by me. I don't know why, but the AC wasn't turning on as much. Okay, what do we need to move? Take that over. Throw the poke down. Go get a nice Ubistek kill, just so we don't have to deal with 75% score reduction. A little bit of damage. Get another poke. Actually, you know what? Let's take those yellows. Get a nice Infernus in there. It's pretty much dead. And never mind, he is dead. Good job, Infernus, and your infinite damage. And there we go, that's dungeons for today. Okay, so pet's done, 19 minutes. And let's go do PvP then. Maybe we'll find another one. If anyone still has any other questions or anything you want me to go over, just let me know, or if I missed anything. Also, we will have the first redeem code probably on next gnome. Whatever next gnome is when we'll do it.
Also, don't forget, next Friday and next weekend is Treasure Gnome event. So if you have free time during that time, it's a really good time to basically just be playing the game, doing just about anything. Just because anywheres where gnomes drop, which is essentially everywhere, arena, PvP, challenges, explore, pretty much everything except whatever the guild-related thing is. So during that week, it's going to be Invasion. So everywhere other than Invasion will essentially have gnomes, and those of course drop a bunch of various resources like gems, keys, various standard resources, as well as the chance of all keys, which has a bunch of loot in it. Okay, let's go in that one. Wait, what was your question? The question was, when your hero gets mythic rarity, you got it wrong someday, so want to see if you know it now correctly? What do you mean? It gets rarity, mythic rarity at level 500. And I think you were saying something about it's at 500 or 1. It used to be at 500, but I guess something made it so it moves over by 1 now, I don't know. Yeah, it's level 500 when you end up getting mythic border. And we gained another level. Still need 19 more. We'll probably reach, like I mentioned earlier, probably around 85 to 90 by the end of this week. Then we leave it there forever until we feel like getting it maxed. Alright, move that. Take the green over. Grab the skull, get the red. Throw a Infernus Superstat. And do we just let him drain? No, I think we go and try getting lucky. Come on, luck! Nope, not enough luck. Okay. Oh, he didn't go for it. Okay, maybe. So we'll go throw that down. Okay, I guess we got enough luck. Good enough. Watch him somehow win off a clean map. That technically is possible, if I'm not careful. Though very, very unlikely. So definitely possible. If he keeps doing that, we're going to be dead. Okay, let's kill it out before it wins. And now we can barrier on that so we don't die. Take skull. And any poke will take it out. Actually, I probably should just went for, what's his name at this point? The Infernus, because that would have been an easier kill. And down it goes. I should take a ride across the country before Trump burns it. I know, gotta go see all of our national treasures before they're all destroyed, right? Aren't they gonna start doing drilling on all those areas now? Let's see. We're gonna move that down, move that down. Go through the other little poke there. Go through Ubistet down. Kill it out with that. Kill it out again, and dead. And we just mark it out with that. Do I have a rule of thumb if it's better to keep gem and glory keys instead of spending them in the hopes of a random mythic? Generally, the way that you do that is if you own more than half the mythics in the game, you should always save your glory and gem keys for every new mythic that is introduced to the game. If you have less than half the mythic troops within the game, you should throw them down basically immediately, or save them for new kingdoms, either or. You wouldn't necessarily save them for new mythic unless you knew for sure that the mythic coming up was actually really good. If it's a kind of okay, kind of average one, like the next one that's coming up, you would, unless you have more than half the mythics in the game, you would spend keys. And if you didn't have more than half the mythics in the game, you would wait until the mythic goes out of the drop table and then just use your keys. It'd still be fine to go and try for it. It's just, when you have more of a drop table and you don't have some of the better ones yet, you'd want to have a chance of getting some of those better ones rather than just crafting a useless newer one. But when you have so many of them, you generally want to go and craft whatever the newer one is, because that will give you a much higher chance that you actually land one that you don't have. Because in that case, you'll have a 100% chance of gaining one that you don't already have. Even if it's not the greatest of one, at least you know for sure it's one that you don't have. which means you don't have to craft it later. But yeah, you reach a point once you have more than half the mythics where you're basically just crafting all the better ones that you need. And you don't really need to worry about the drop table. So you always want to be focusing on whatever the newer ones are. Oh, oops, what did I do with that for? So these things are so annoying, these little summons. That's the only thing I kind of hate about the hero update. Like, everything was so amazing about it, but these annoying summons! We'll throw that down. And down it goes. So that reminds me, how's the leaderboard doing these days? I want to say 24,000. Pretty close. Looks like 21,000 at the moment, more like 22. So by the end of the week, that looks like 31, 32. So it looks like PvP leaderboard has gone down some. Before it was as high as like 36 to 38,000. Now it has dropped down to about 31, 32 by the end of the week, which is a lot more manageable. I might start trying for it soon. I'm not sure. Definitely not this week, though. We tried for it several times in the past, just haven't been the last several weeks. Oh, just throw a poke at it, go from there. The next Gnome event is next Friday. And it lasts all weekend long from Friday reset, which would have been this morning, all the way until Monday reset, which would have been 3 days from then. But yeah, that occurs next Friday. And down it goes. So you have Warlord or Warlock and Sorcerer done. All kingdoms to level 3. And you're working on getting the magic level to 10s. Very nice. What's the next thing you should work on? You have War and Peace as well. Well, probably working on all kingdoms to max. Should probably be your main goal. So probably do a lot of PvP. Well, for one, get Dragon Armor if you don't already have it. That'll help you get a lot more gold. To do that, one thing that you can do this week is if you don't already have 500 gems, or if you don't already have Death Knight armor, go and play a bunch of Treasure Hunt this week. That's your best way of gaining a lot of gems as a newer player, as well as just resources in general. Not only that, but that will then also, the event objective this week is also doing maps, so you'd be able to get both of those done at once. But by doing that, you'll then have the resources. Okay, you already have Dragon Armor. So then basically just go and spam PvP like crazy with whatever your best team is. And go get a bunch of gold and start working towards getting all your kingdoms to level 10. Of course, starting with magic, then working to attack, then HP, then armor. Or you can even do HP before attack if you really wanted to. Depends how you want to go about it. But you pretty much want to be working towards getting a level 10 to all kingdoms. And then from there, you want to try finding yourself into a good guild that does, unless you're already committed to whatever guild you're already in, you're going to want to try to find a guild at that point once you have level 10 all kingdoms that has about the same gold requirement as how much gold you tend to obtain per week. So if you're currently doing about 100,000 per week, you'd want to find a guild around there. Or if you're doing about 300,000 per week, somewhere around there, so on and so forth. Ideally, you want to be trying to find a 500,000 guild or higher gold guild. But if you don't play as much, as well as if you're just a newer player and you have smaller bonuses, that might not be as feasible to do. But generally, the higher the number of gold requirement you can get, the better. Because that's the more resources you get for free for just doing what you would already normally be doing. Yeah, getting into a good guild as soon as possible is generally the best thing you could do for your account, because you would end up getting so many free resources. And the way to go about that is, of course, basically which is what I said. You go and start working towards getting every single kingdom to level 10. Then you kind of just gauge how much gold you're getting per week, and then just go from there and figure out what guild you want. The hardest part is really just getting every kingdom to level 10. And the reason why this is important is the biggest gold sink initially as a newer player when you're first starting out is actually getting all the kingdoms maxed. After you do that, there's almost nothing that sinks your gold other than guild. Oh, and there's a gnome. I did say once we find another gnome, we'd give out a redeem code. And that is indeed another gnome. So let's go hand out a redeem code. Did he just assassinate us? Yes, he did. Oh, well. And down he goes. And he just dies to the explosion off of that. That's funny. Hey, 4,000 gold. And we're going to get even more gold because we're going to give out the redeem code. Yeah, let me go get that out. Oops, I already used all these codes. 1 second. Where'd the other codes go? There they are. Let's see. Copy all these. Also, we do finally have random codes again, for the most part. She still couldn't help herself and made a couple words in there. But they're all random enough that no one's ever going to guess them again. For the most part. So, should be good. The only problem is, how many of them did she end up making 11 characters long? We'll find out. Well, let's go into the first one. And never mind, this one's actually a word. I like how I say that, and yet the first one's actually a word. Actually, quite a few of these are words. They just made enough random numbers into them that they don't look as much like it. She basically like made them all words, but she put so many random numbers in there that no one would ever actually guess what they are. That's kind of funny. Anyways, let me go save that one. Let me go make sure it even works, and go from there. Put that in there. And this code does not exist because I put a space bar in there. Fail. And now it works correctly. There we go. Okay. So that code does indeed work. Let me go get it into chat and put it below me as well. And we'll have another redeem code a little bit later during the stream. Let's go put that right there. Boom. There it goes. Go. There is the redeem code. It is known with a 9. So let's go move that over. And those are I's. That isn't L's. It's just how they capitalize in that font. But let me go copy paste the link as well. 1 second. Where'd the link go? There it is. That's the only bad thing about the change that they made to the website. The icon for the little thingy, or at least on Chrome, it just shows like a blank thing. It doesn't even show like their normal icon that they would normally have there. Hopefully they fix that later. It's not that big a deal, but it just kind of looks off. Because they forgot to set an icon for it, or however you would normally do that. I don't know. But anyways, there you guys go in chat. Also, hello, Elite. Welcome. But yeah, there's the redeem code. You use it on gemsofwar.com underneath the game code section, or you simply click on that link, and they still have that shiny new game code section little area. That's just kind of cool. Other than that, your invite code can be found underneath your options menu. Whatever your game says here is what you put in. Don't put in mine. Put in whatever your game says. The redeem code can be found below or in chat, as I just copy. You can just copy paste it from there, and yeah, gives the same reward as always: 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. You can use it on the PC, mobile, or Amazon version. Basically, every version that is not a console version, you can use it on. So the only 2 versions it does not work on is PS4 and Xbox One, unfortunately. But let's go use our 1 gem key. Anything good? Come on, ingots. Come on. Runic. I don't need trade stones. Pretty much the only drop we even need from those are ingots, for the most part. Like, even almost any troop drop it wouldn't even need. Very, very, very few of them would I actually need from that. Oh, let's go take this down. Put the other one down. See what else we have. Guess we'll take a blue. I'm really curious what will happen next Friday. We've been getting really lucky with the last few mythics. I've been getting a really large gem key reserve right now. I think one of the highest we've had for a while now. So, kind of nice to keep it, though to a degree I kind of hope we don't in a way. Mainly because, I don't know, either way it kind of works out. Because if we do burn through a lot of keys, that means we get a lot more ingots. But if we don't burn through a lot of keys, well, we get to keep a reserve of gem keys for later. Which I guess technically we're still going to open them eventually, so this doesn't matter too much. Yeah, I'd assume 1,300 something gem keys should be enough. Normally, 1,000 is almost guarantee. Forget what the exact percent chance is when you open 1,000, but I think it's somewhere around like 90% chance, 80, 90, that you would end up getting it by opening that many keys. Of course, there's always that some amount of percent chance that you never would even after that many keys. But whatever it was, I forget the exact math on it, but it's very, very high number as far as what your chance would be after opening 1,000. Alright, we'll throw that down, get a furnace. And another furnace, and that'll be that. Yep. And then it goes. So since you have dragon armor, gems then all go to gem keys? Yes. Basically, as a newer player, once you have dragon armor and celestial armor, assuming you're not going for Death Knight armor, you would basically go all in on 50 bulks only of gem keys. Those end up giving you the best amount of value. Very occasionally, you could consider doing event keys, though only if there was a super, super good troop in the drop table. But more often than not, you want to be doing gem keys because it gives you the most amount of resources. It gives you ingots. It gives you a nice array of troops. It helps get all your ultra rares max. Helps give you a nice amount of runics since you'll still be needing those at a lower level. And it's just the best thing that you could ever do with your gems, basically. There isn't anything better than that. You'll probably see me using my gems on a lot of other things, but that's mainly because this late in the game you would use it on other stuff other than those. But earlier on in the game, it's pretty much all in on 50 bulk gem keys for like 90% of your gems that you use. Okay, we'll go and what else did I move around? Let's like skull here. Really? You would get a summon. Let me poke you once and you get a summon. Oh, I hate these summons so much. He's actually gonna win off of summons. Because we're gonna get to the point where he just keeps burning himself and summoning an entire army. And then he'll kill us out with that army. We'll throw in Furnace here. He luckily did not summon yet again. But he will. It's only a matter of time. We'll do that. Let's see, we poked him again some. Let's see, what is it? A 20% chance? What's his percent chance that actually summons? It's a 20% chance. Well, let's go throw not Oops Step. We'll do this. Luckily he didn't summon off of that. And if he summons off of this, we actually get the kill because it will be in both the kill locations. So we'll do this. And he does indeed get summoned, but we get to kill it instantly because Ubistet. And there we go. The biggest issue with event keys is they're way too expensive. They're 50% more expensive, and they have no ingots in them. If they had ingots in them, I would consider them being kind of okay. But I don't even have ingots anymore, so all you guys like useless trade stones. Well, I guess as a newer player, that's not as useless, but still, they're 50% more, just so you get a focused pool. And, I don't know, I just wouldn't really throw gems at it. Definitely worth saving. Basically, whatever ones you normally get from guild would probably be enough. And just save those for whenever new or important content comes out through event keys. Or I guess as a newer player, mainly just good content. You don't really need to worry about new content specifically. Obviously, later in the game, you'd worry about new content. Oh, events like raids and evasion, you pretty much ignore events like raids, invasions, bounty hunter, and stuff like that as a newer player. It just costs too many gems compared to how many you normally have available. So later in the game, you have way more than enough, but earlier on, you generally are spending so much of your gems on like things like Dragon Armor, Celestial Armor, and 50 bulks of gem keys that you don't really have the spare gems to throw it on game modes. And if you were to throw it on a game mode, I would say Bounty Hunter would be your best value, assuming you have the stats to do so. That's the other problem with those game modes too. You still need pretty decent stats to actually participate in them. Will they ever add any more commons or rare weapons? Probably not. I would assume they wouldn't, but you never know. That would be kind of cool if they did. Like Crude Club and Hero Sword are two of the best common weapons in the game. Like, I mean, some of the best weapons in the game, I mean. Not just common weapons, but just weapons in general. I'd probably rank them at around 15th to 20th best weapon in the game. And of course, that's obviously somewhat low. They used to be a lot higher. But that's mainly because you don't have as many perks. But still, they're not bad. They're still pretty decent. Not like the absolute greatest things out there, but they're definitely better than many other weapons. Yeah, there's potential for them to add newer, like, lower rarity stuff that actually isn't horrible. You never know. They probably wouldn't, though. And even if they did, it's just going to get maxed instantly with how the ingot system is set up, which would give them even less incentive to bother even doing it. Because they would want to go and add more legendary and mythic weapons to the game in order to increase the amount of resources you would need to go and accumulate them all. And that's basically exactly what they're doing. We get a new mythic weapon every 6 weeks off the new hero class that ends up coming in. And we end up getting a new legendary weapon almost every week. Every 2 out of 3 weeks, we end up getting a new legendary weapon. And now that I think of about that, it almost makes it so in the current state of the game, we will perpetually never have every legend weapon max, will we? I didn't think about that. But because of... because that means, how many do you need to max out a legendary weapon? Because I don't think you can make that many, I don't think it's possible to gain that many legendary ingots per week, I don't think. Or not by normal means. Or maybe if you did like a lot of keys or something. But it's like, what, 40 something? And you would only get 21, which isn't even half. So you would need to go make up the other half every single week by playing the actual game. Which I don't think you could ever actually make that gap, even if you did play a lot. I don't think you would actually make that gap. That's kind of odd. But yeah, let me go double check that. Oops, that's not where you check it. Go under troops. Go under literally any legendary weapon. And it requires, yeah, 45, not 46. Close enough. Yeah, it requires 45. It gives you 21 exactly, which is actually exactly how many we have, which is kind of funny. But, yeah, it gives you 21 every single time you do that. Every single time they add a new one, which is even half. You'd have to make up the other 23. And, yeah, that basically means you would have to average, let's see, they had 2 of them, that's 46. 46 over 3 weeks. What's that divided by 3? That's 15, right? Yeah, 15.3. You'd have to get 15.3 legendary ingots, not counting the ones that you get from buying the packs. That's assuming you're buying like the 850 gem pack on those 2 weeks. You would still need to get 15.3 legendary ingots per week, every single week, which is, I don't think I'm doing that many. I think I'm doing like 5 to 8, maybe, like if we converted everything upwards. But, yeah, not that many. Not 15.3, that's for sure. And that's how many you would have to do just to maintain the rate of which they're adding legendary weapons. And that's not even getting ahead, that's just maintaining the current rate. But yeah, they're probably going to be adding a different minigame next patch that is going to be increasing it by some amount. I'd assume so. They have to add some kind of new means to add them, because there's eventually going to be so ridiculously hard to actually max every weapon relative to how many they have and how many ingots you need for all of them. Hello, Michael. Welcome. Also, anyone just getting here, make sure to use the redeem code below. Should still be active for probably the next 5 minutes or so. I don't know how many claims they have these days. I want to say 300, 400, 500. I'm not even sure. But they are claim-based, so make sure to claim them soon if you haven't already. And we'll have another one a little bit later during the stream as well, with some free resources in the game. Okay, we'll just go and throw in Furnace, get Upastec, go from there. And hopefully... Oh wait, never mind, I forgot. He's going to get the 100% summon. We have no way of stunning him. Let's move that over. We'll go and cascade that down so we can go instantly kill, and a Furnace kill him. And then it goes. What did you get from a gnome? A vault key? I haven't seen a vault key from a gnome from a non-vault event since the first week they ever launched. I've been pretty unlucky with them since then. Oh, speaking about unlucky, we just found a pet gnome. Let's see. It's still too recent to give out another code though. But how long ago did we give out, or was our last pet? I think it was hovering over it over here. I think it's time to kill it. Let's see, how much time was left on this guy? Oh, it doesn't say. Wait, where did I go over the timer? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Found it for a second. Where'd it go? I was just on top of it. Fail. Where'd it go? No! No! I lost track of it. And this is so frustrating moving my mouse like this. Did anyone find the timer for the thingy? Let's see, somewhere's over here. It should show a timer. Close enough. Let's see, move forward a little bit. Come on. Where'd it go? I lost track of it. 1 second. Let's see, that was almost the final battle. Almost the final battle. There's the final battle. So right after this, it should tell us how much time the other guy has left. How much is it? Oh, it didn't show us. What? Come on, where'd the timer go? Why didn't it show it? No! Where was the other one then? My mouse cannot hover over it, and it's too frustrating to try to figure out exactly where it is. Because every single time I move it, it's like, nope, one it moves it away. Every single time. You had, let's see. At 11:30, we had 22 minutes. Which means it's good to go then, right? It should be good then. How long ago in the stream was it, though, is what I'm trying to find. Relative to whatever timer it says. Feels like I'm doing surgery trying to like get this as close as possible. Here it is. I found it. 22 minutes. 22 minutes, 29 minutes ago. Okay. Yeah, it's fine to kill. That's what I thought. I just wanted to double check.
Mana surge. Mana surge.
I don't know why YouTube doesn't have that for streams. They normally have, like, on very long videos, that one bar that helps you move, like, in more smaller increments. But for whatever reason, on live streams, they don't have that.
Mana surge.
Which is why it was so hard to actually get it on the exact timer. And, oh, we got a brown. Very nice. That's actually pretty good. So let's go and claim that then. That's going to help us on Brown Guild War Day. So let's go and claim that immediately. Just so I don't forget. So let's go capture him, fight, and go into battle.
Mana surge.
I just gave him so much mana. It's not going to matter though.
Mana surge.
Oh, is it true they are coming out with a Soul Gnome? Soul Gnome and Glory Gnome. I haven't actually looked into what they'll be doing. Well, other than the evident thing that they're probably going to do. The Soul Gnome giving souls and the Glory Gnome giving glory. That would probably make a lot of sense. But, yeah, they're a thing. Eventually, they'll be a thing.
Surge.
Kill to kill, and I just need one more poke. Actually, 2 more pokes. And then Furnace for the overkill, and then it goes. Come on, give us our little rock spirit guy. We need our extra 1 armor. Actually, doesn't he do HP? It looks like he should do armor, but I believe he does HP. But again, anyone just getting here, make sure to use the redeem code below. Should still be good. We'll have another one a little bit later. At this point, probably on the next pet gnome or treasure gnome, we'll give it out. We're gonna take all those blues, get our mana that we need, throw that into anything. Go from there. Furnace. Stat. And what else? Take a yellow over. Get our furnace down. And that's about it. Get rid of the summoner just so we don't have to deal with it. And just Infernus again so it dies out. Hello, Churros! Welcome! What's the next useful class after Titan? Well, that depends. What do you currently have maxed? I would say the next best after that would probably be to go for Divine, if you could build a team like this. Or if you can't build a team like this, probably go into Assassin fully maxed, if you haven't already done that from the other week when it was available. But yeah, the current best ones are Titan for raids and evasions, as well as Giant Team. Bard for Yellow Guild War. Or actually, let me just say the more important ones first. It's mainly Assassin and Titan for the most part. There's a few other ones that you'd use occasionally. Oh, and Priest, of course. But only if you have like the really meta teams like this. But Priest is technically the absolute strongest if you can build this exact team. The next one is Titan because it's used in raids, invasions, as well as the best Giant Team. Next would probably be Assassin because you use it as the best skull spamming hero that you can possibly do. And other than that, it basically becomes very niche stuff that you would use for very specific purposes. So for example, you could use Bard for Yellow Guild War Day, Rune Priest for Red Guild War Defend when you go use all the dwarves together. You can use... let's see what other really specific ones were there. That's about it, really. I don't think too many of the other ones would really be used too often. Death Knight occasionally gets used in battles where your the stats of the enemies are way higher than what yours are, and you just want to try getting death mark kills on them. And other than that, there isn't really much else as far as hero classes. Like here or there might be a few that have okay if you wanted to go build like a specific type team, but most of them aren't really too good. Necro for soul farming, yes. Later on in the game you would never need to do that though, which is why I haven't bothered doing mine. But yes, Necromancer definitely for soul farming. Has the highest amount of souls. But there's definitely a purpose for every single one if we go and break it down. That's the reason I've been wanting to do that one video for it. Like even something like Archer, which I would say is one of the didn't really get too good of a benefit from the most recent patch to the hero tree things. But there's still some really weird things it gets used for. Like Archer's really good with Black Beast. That's basically its whole purpose now. Is your hero alone can perpetually keep Black Beast going because it has a double summon. It's the only hero class currently with a double summon. Or actually, I should say a good double summon. I think there was one other one that has it too, but it's not a good one. Sorcerer isn't as good anymore. In the past, I said Sorcerer is pretty good. Back when there was no tree or anything for it. Its tree isn't horrible. It actually gets some okay things from its tree. But the traits on it are just abysmal these days. Like the 50% chance to gain 1 magic. Compared to things that can do 1 magic to your entire team, or 1 to all stats to your entire team per turn. Compared to him just doing a random 50% 1 magic. It is so pitiful, the comparison between the two. You can use Assassin with Masked Guardians if you wanted to. I don't see why not. You could do them on Doom Skulls too with Guardians, which is kind of cool. Oh, nice, Iplom. You finally got all pets. Congratulations. That's a pretty nice milestone. And what's good about getting all pets is once you finally reach it, you essentially perpetually forever have all pets always. Yeah, the hardest part is getting all of them initially. But once you finally have all of them, it's every new pet is always really easy to obtain. It's not like Mythics or anything where they're ridiculously hard. Because every single time a new pet comes in, as long as you can do a pet event, you'll instantly get it. Is there a better early questing and low-level PvP team? Compared to what? Oh, compared to using Guardians and such? Yeah, you'd probably use, Alchemist Moneylender Double Goblin Rocket, Alchemist Moneylender Goblin Rocket Hero, Alchemist Double Goblin Rocket Hero, anything like that, basically. Where you just use a Goblin Rocket spam into Hero. Also, depending on if you're going up against really high teams, you could also use some version of a Devourer Dragonian Monk team with, like, the Cockatrice Dragonian Monk combo. Cockatrice Dragonian Monk is the cheapest thing that can keep you as safe as possible. You keep using Cockatrice to entangle the enemy so they do 0 attack. You keep mana draining them so they never get to cast on you. So that alone has just disabled everything they could possibly do other than traits. And Dragonian Monk just keeps burying you for when Cockatrice doesn't come through. Oh, we only got one Rocky. Why? We've been getting one copy every single time, it feels like. How many does that bring us up to, though? 5 copies. We're still a while away from getting that maxed. But oh well, let's go into that. Oh, sorry, Michael, what was your question? What did I miss? Where'd it go? Let's see, I see your hello. Where's your question? Oh, do you mind if you try recruiting someone for your guild here? Oh yeah, you can advertise your guild here, I don't mind. Feel free. Any idea what's the next troop trait stone will be for next week's glory shop? Yes. The trait stone is going to be... also, the second link in the description also brings you there, by the way. The first one's a poll, by the way, too. If you go to the description, open that in a new tab. It's a poll for what the best mythic in the game is, or what you think it is. If you have the time, make sure to do that. It's on the forum. But second link is the one to do all the spoiler stuff. It's the one that says spoilers next to it. Forget exactly what it says. It says something spoilers. But anyways, next week is brown-green. So anything that you need that requires brown-green trait stones, you can basically buy infinite of, if you have the glory for it. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Let's go and he'll go do all that mess. We won't have enough damage, so I'm just going to throw in a furnace here. That'll definitely bring him into kill range, assuming he doesn't get more HP down, which he doesn't yet. So that's good. I'll throw down the double kill, less stuff to deal with. Luckily we get the HP guy as well, so even less to deal with on top of that less. So very nice. Now we just need to go and get the Oopstet down, so we'll do it that way. And that should be enough for Oopstet. And as long as he doesn't somehow kill our entire team right now, we're fine. And down he goes. Though you never know, he definitely could. Out of nowhere. Yeah, as far as brown-green is concerned, let's actually go over that real quick. What is worth trading next week? It costs 300 glory each. But as far as what you'd be able to go and upgrade, let me go and just double-check it real quick. So brown-green, all colors, boom. So things worth trading. Diviner max level or max trait would be fine. Ends up getting a lot of immunities, which is sometimes used. It's actually one of the best troops in the entire game that has immune to mana drain, Diviner. So that would be one. I forget if Famine uses it, but Famine would be one. Dragatar earlier on in the game actually wouldn't be too bad, so both Diviner and Dragatar are pretty decent. I forget if Ketris uses it, but he'd be okay if he does. Sylvania Mora for his first turn Entangle. Or not first turn Entangle, but he's the best Entangler in the game. As far as making sure to anti-skull spam. Because it always puts on first slot every time. And all you have to do is extra turn. Earlier on in the game, it's basically just Divine or Dragatar. Later on in the game, it'd basically just be really any of the mythics that need it. Other than Sylvania Mora, I don't think there's any legend that really uses it. Willow wasn't really that good. I don't know. Willow, I think, kind of could have been decent. But it seems more like an early game kind of thing for the most part. But, I don't know. You can still use it decently if you can get a lot of browns down. It's still really good in early game. That hasn't changed. But I guess that could be one of the other ones you go and upgrade. It's just that the fact isn't really used that often. Because it's only life and attack. It's not as useful as some of the other ones, like magic, that it happens on giants. But, yeah, there is not that many good things under brown-green. Never even noticed that. Yeah, it's basically Diviner or Dragatar for early game, and then just Famine all the other times, maybe Catchers or something. But most of those don't even need to be traded. Like Famine doesn't need traits. Catchers technically doesn't need traits, so it does benefit a little bit. The only one of these that really need traits is Diviner. And the main reason for that is because it gives that nice immunity to mana drain thing. I guess if you're running first slot Dragontar. Black Beast is also a pretty decent one out of brown green, but you don't need any traits on it to function. Yeah, I know, it is so slow to gain levels now. It's so glacially slow. Also, congratulations to you as well. That means you've reached it pretty recently too, if you're level 1308. Definitely a nice little milestone to have. Though it's still forever away from reaching a higher level. It's going to be like a half a year probably by the time we gain level 1400. For some kind of absurd amount of time. I'll go throw Furnace down. And next gnome that we find, we will give out a code. Oh no, what are you doing surviving on both of them? It's not even one. Both of you got to survive with barely anything. He's reburned, so we can do anything. And down he goes. Yeah, I might need to go check my AC. It's like barely even working right now. Let me go use the cold water. The one I haven't even opened yet. Oh, yeah, that feels good. Cold water. It's even a desert in the background. How perfect. Except I forgot to go change the background. Let me actually go do that right now. What's today's event? Or this week's event? It's, Pensvale. Let me go change that real quick. How could I possibly forget to change the background? It's not like it matters much. But, where to go, where to go, where to go? Head background, where are you? It's in here somewhere. Head background. Let's browse, switch this over to something that isn't this, and go from there. Or not into anything other than this, I mean into the one it's supposed to be, which is Pensvale. And that would be you. Click OK, and there it is, and adjust it accordingly. And it should be good enough. There we go. Now we got nice looking Pensvale. That looks a lot cooler than the other one. We'll go into the shade. We'll get it out of the sun. There we go. Anyways, let's continue. Where were we? Go into the easy battle. Because everything that's meta is so annoying right now. Did I miss your question? Probably. Is there, or will there be any way to get the weapon Divine Protector anymore? Yes. They will be adding some way, shape, or form in the future to get Divine Protector. How we will obtain it then, or what they'll be doing for it, we do not know, but they will be doing something to reobtain it in the future. But yeah, we don't know when that will occur, or how that will occur, or what will cost, or anything. But it will happen, eventually, soon TM. And at the current moment in time, it is literally impossible to obtain by any means. Which is definitely unfortunate. But yeah, no way at the moment is the bottom line. No way at the moment, but they're going to add one eventually. Okay, let's go. Just move that over. Get the last little bit of mana we need. Go from there. See what we can do. Take like a... Oh, just take yellow, I guess. Yeah, no problem. 30 Infernus down. Go get a nice little poke on anything. I guess this last slot. Get all the mana. Oops, dead. And now I just skull kill. And he leaves the skull. Perfect. And down it goes. Okay, which one of these do we go for? I guess we'll just go for the easier one. Might as well. Farm all those ingots we need. Start getting our weapons upgraded. Ever so slowly, we will have all of them upgraded. 10 years from now, no. It's not gonna take that long. Let's see, we'll throw that down. Get nice and furnace. Yeah, I'm really hoping next minigame will be really good. It better not be another sigil thingy. It probably will be. But we'll see. She said on the previous stream, Salty ended up saying that beta will probably be in midway through next month or later next month, sometime next month. we should be getting access to the beta, or I should say I should be getting access to the beta, but they are going to be taking requests for beta testers as well. If you're on the forum and you're pretty active in the community to any degree, they would probably consider you. They're also looking for, oh, we can't save that one. It's too recent. But they're also looking for people who are bilingual. So if you do want to be a beta tester, if you know any language, well, obviously you should don't know English, but if you know another language other than English, they would probably accept you as a beta tester, because they need more beta testers that speak multiple languages as well. So once they do start taking applications for that, in probably next week or so, you could probably get into that. I think they're going to do that on the forum. I'm not fully certain, but yeah, definitely double check the Gems of War forum. Should probably be doing that anyways. It's a really nice resource. gemsofwar.com under the forum section is the official forum for the game. What was the total amount of EXP from 0 to 100 and from 70 to 100? 0 to 70 is 2,525, and 100 is double that, which is 5,050. And that's the breakdown as far as how much mana you need for, I mean, how much EXP you need for both. But yeah, 70 is halfway to 100. Okay, move that over, move that over. Throw a... Oops, that down. Oh, wait. Oops. We should have thrown the Divine Protector down first. Oh, well. We'll kill this out with that and go from there. There we go. What else do we need? We'll throw in a Furnace. She also should die to that, or not. Of course, it would hit everything other than her. And hits us a few more times, and a few more. Anything else you want to do while you're at it? Let's see. We'll move that over. You could actually win if you were not careful. You can infinitely Infernus us pretty easily still. He tried. He sure tried. He tried getting his mana up. Didn't work, though. We'll go and see if we have any drops. I do, so we'll grab that. And it ends up extra turning, and he's dead. Hey, what level did we currently get the hero class to, by the way? I think we're at, like, what, 82 at the moment? Or was it 87? We're definitely not 87. There's no way we got it that high that quick. Yeah, I was gonna say 81. That seems about more right. Okay, anyways, we already did the pet, and let's keep going. Let's just go into dragons, I guess. Hey, the old triple KrissTigger team. I remember when people used to use this as one of their main teams. Good times, good times. It's pretty weak these days. At one point, Dragon Soul with KrissTigger was the most overpowered thing in the game. Not anymore, obviously. Still pretty high up there. It's actually available in Soulforge this week too, isn't it? Yeah, Dragon Soul and KrissTigger and Gorgolfa. The whole triple combo is actually all there. It's still a really good team too. Gorgolfa, Gorgolfa, KrissTigger, Dragon Soul, and Hero in last slot. It's covers every color. It's really strong. It's really tanky against skulls. And it has a little bit of everything that you really need. It has Summoner, has damage, has board control, has a lot of damage actually. The only real big issue with it is all of its damage is full AoE. So if they have Submerge, it's going to be very protected. So if they're running Divinia, it's going to be horrible to run against because it's going to get so many Submerges. But other than that, ends up working out pretty good against just about anything. It's not the greatest team in the game anymore, obviously. There's a lot of things better than it now, but it's still pretty solid. And it's all available in Soulforge this week if you were missing one specific component. It definitely wouldn't be worth crafting all three of the components, but if you were missing like just the Gorgolfa or just the Dragon Soul or just the KrissTigger, all three of them are around this week in Soulforge. Wow, I didn't even notice that. He had a Mythic Anu. Well, obviously if you own an Anu, he's Mythic, but still. He's like a level 94 with a Mythic, which does happen. There's a lot of under level 100s that do have it. Of course, there are people that are over 1,000 that don't have it, but there are definitely plenty of people under 100 that do. Quick soul farming team. I was actually going to do another soul farming video this week on Wednesday, but ended up opting not to because I didn't have enough time. But, yeah, as far as soul farming things are concerned, you can do that with basically Arena. Tends to be the best way to go about getting souls. The only time when you'd finally go and switch out of Arena to go get souls would be once you finally have something like Dragon Soul Triple Azurus is probably the earliest these days that you'd bother switching out. Main reason being is Arena is actually not too bad to do these days. It has 2 XP per your whatever hero class you're using. It has ingots, and it has a really substantial amount of souls. It's also still the best way in the game to obtain trophies, though that's a pretty irrelevant part of it, but you also gain some glory keys, and has a little bit of everything. But it's mainly used for souls, of course. But you use that as one of your main means of obtaining souls for a good majority of the game, until, as I mentioned, you finally have Dragon Soul Triple Azurus, or Dragon Soul Double Azurus with the Necromancer class in last slot, and you basically run with one of those until you finally have Ferrous Raz, in which case you start slowly replacing them out with Ferrous Raz. Also, if you need to use a different hero class and you have it, using fully traded Umberwolf in last slot ends up working. But basically, you'd want to have a Dragon Soul. It's actually craftable this week as well. Definitely worth getting. It's the best value of any legend you can ever get is Dragon Soul. It's used for so many things, and it is used for the best soul farming teams in the game at the moment. Yeah, almost anything with Dragon Soul tends to work pretty well. It is this week, right? I'm pretty sure it was. That's what I was thinking about last week already. But yeah, it should have been Gorgolfa, Dragon Soul, and Christinix are available. And yes, they are. They are right next to each other pretty much. Yeah, Dragon Soul is insanely good. 15 souls per cast, 20 damage to all enemies regardless of your stats, because it's based on how many dragons are on the team. If you're doing in something like a soul farming team, it's only going to be 11 damage, but still, if you do something like First Challenge Divinian Fields, that's enough to double shot it. And does a bunch of explosions. That's based on magic, but still, even at lower levels, it still does like 6 or 7 or so. And it's just really good. And for the amount that it costs, it's not too bad. Hardest thing to get is the 800 diamonds, though, which you can't really rush up. You just get that slowly over time through dungeons, doing dungeons every day. So let's head back to PvP. And next gnome we find, or next actual gnome, not the fake ones, but next gnome we find, we'll give out a redeem code, and we'll go from there. And if you guys still have anything else you want me to go over, just let me know. I'll make sure to do so. Okay, what else do we need to move? Take the red, prefer all the alpha top, didn't get it. Take purple, burn furnaces, and dead. Almost dead. But you actually thought that would be enough damage, apparently. He might have low stats, they're not that low though. Let's kill out the summoner just in case he feels like summoning, because that would still be annoying regardless, even with almost no stats. Does he get to run away? No, he just gets a bunch of gold and death. Oh no, I feel the need to sneeze, but I can't sneeze. I hate that feeling so much. But there's another low level with a famine, or with a mythic, I mean. I can't see what level he is, but it's pretty low given that those are his stats. I'll move that over. Take the red so we can go get Furnace down. That should be enough to get everything going. Red it down immediately. He already would have reached full mana due to enchant, but oh well. With Arubistet, and then Furnace will clean up whatever's left. And there we go. Oh, unless he gets a famine out of nowhere. Will he do it? No, not even close. Only 10 mana. And he's dead. He's gone. Oh, we gained another level. That's 82 for our class, and exactly 9,000. We're not over 9,000, but we're exactly on 9,000. And we'll take the easier one, might as well. This just seems to be a dragon team. Oh, Dragon Eye is really annoying, though. It transforms a random ally of ours into a dragon. Or baby dragon, I mean. Which then transforms into any dragon. Is it worth getting 250 fights in with every class to get the weapon, or is there a better way? Yeah, I would do it. That's what I did for mine personally. I would advise doing it eventually. Yes, it's not really that high of a priority. The only really good hero weapons that you really end up getting for the most part are Creeping Death from Necromancer, Dragonator 8000 from Mech, that one Spider Totem thing from Orb Weaver, and I believe that is it. Am I forgetting another one? I think that's pretty much all the good weapons from hero classes. Even though there's like 16, 18 hero classes, however many there is, there's only like 3 or 4 good weapons out of any of them. Yeah, it's not that many. You still want to get it eventually, but because you need them for kingdoms and such. But yeah, unless you specifically need it for a kingdom, no real rush in them. Yeah, you would want to do it eventually. There just isn't really that big of a priority to do it. You'd want to get all the things maxed eventually, all the hero classes. And that's a good way to kind of start, is just go for the weapon. That's a pretty nice mouse, or the kind of easy thing to kind of set. Because 250 wins relative to leveling up the hero class actually doesn't take too long. Depending on the method you're using, you can get 250 wins in under 2 hours. If you're doing something more like Explore. If you're doing PvP, it'll obviously take a little bit longer. Also, doing Arena does count towards it too. So you can just do all of it in Arena and do that pretty quickly that way. Especially if you have Dawnbringer. So assuming you haven't unlocked them yet, you probably don't have Dawnbringer, but you know, if you have any of these slightly better double-colored weapons that you get around level 250 or so, those would end up working. What's with everyone using Anu today? Why does it feel like almost everyone runs Anu? That's so strange. It's not even good. Why is everyone running it all of a sudden? Was it like free Anu day or something? Oh, is he in Soulforge right now? Maybe some people finally crafted Anu and they're like, okay, I'm gonna go set this on my defend team now. Anu's not really that worth crafting though. He's used for Blue Guild War Day and that's about it. Some night teams use him too, but the current night meta is pretty weak. Not to mention, it's almost always going to be useless because that one bunny from Pan's Veil does 5 times skull damage to knights. So even if knights became the meta, they would instantly die out because the bunny would just kill them immediately. It's Anu Day. Yeah, that's what we should do. We should go make an arbitrary holiday for every single day that's related to Gems of War. That'd be kind of funny. There's actually enough troops that we could make it a day for every single troop and still not cover every troop as well. Could you give this anti-mana drain team a try? Lady or Ariel, Divinia, Yagway, and Corrupt Sorceress. Normally you'd want to use... Never mind, you are using Divinia. I was going to say, you would always want to use Yagway Divinia if you're using an anti-mana drain team. Yeah, I guess it's technically anti-mana or a mana drain. He is Corvash, so close enough. We'll go give it a shot, see what happens. Let's go get rid of the 4 horsemen and go put a real team there. Okay, Lady or Ariel. Put that in there. Go with Divinia. Go with a Yagway with so much damage because we're about to give it, there we go. So much HP. And what was the final thing we needed? We needed, Sorcerer. The Dragon Banner. Sorcerer. And Dragon Banner. Which will just minus our brown some. But we get a bunch of reds and yellows, which of course goes all in on Divinia. And then we can go from there. Okay, so let's just go see what we can do with this. Should be good. All we have to do is... Wait, did I accidentally move one of them to the wrong one? No, they're alright. Never mind. Yeah, that's 4 times immune to mana drain. I believe we also get an elf bonus, if I'm not mistaken. Aren't they all elf? Elf. No, you're human. Elf. No, never mind. Okay. Only 2 of them are elves. All elves do have immune to mana drain, but not all things that have immune to mana drain are elves. I don't think Lady or Ariel is as needed on this team, though. The colors it's creating isn't helpful. At all. Blue and green. Yeah, I don't really need either of those 2 colors on the board. Oh yeah, I don't even need to worry about Corvash, do I? Or at least not the first cast of Corvash I don't need to worry about. Oh, there we go. We kind of didn't need her anyway, so that works. How do we not have alignment yet? Oops, didn't realize that was Cascade there. Fail. Well, we don't even get to use our mana drain immunity now that he stunned our entire team. Well, there goes the team. Rip. But yeah, I don't think you need Lady or an Aerial. You'd be better off not even doing a full mana drain immune and just go with double and be able to tank your stuff with it. Normally, it's best to just go Divinia, Yagway, support, or just put a frontline tank in there and to go like frontline tank, HP. But yeah, go tank, Divinia, Yagway's damage, and another damage, and go like that. But yeah, I don't think there's a need to really go 4 times immune to mana drain. There's still not a really excessively good 4 times mana drain immune team, and it probably won't exist for a while. Yeah, it can definitely get bad luck sometimes. There's a lot of teams that can just do that occasionally. It comes down to how well you can get Divinia spamming, is normally what it would come down to. Sometimes Divinia just doesn't get operational in time to get enough HP to survive. It still uses Yagway as your only damage though. Very rarely do you want to run with only 1 damage. There's some troops you can get away with. I don't really feel like Yagway is something you can get away with, though. The only time you can really get away with Yagway's only damage is during Bounty Hunter. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I don't really feel like Lady or an Aerial is needed on that team. You might want to find something else that works there. Even something like Diviner would be way better than the other troop. Even if you're missing blue, which you would be after that, it'd still be better overall. Okay, let's go and move that over. Do a double kill, he'll kill itself out, and then we go from there. Also, where's all the gnomes? Want to give out this other code. We'll hunt them out somewheres. You started last week and you're level 180. You have finished all Kingdom storylines at the class's minigames. You like playing Necromancer as your main class, but don't know whether you should change. Well, Necromancer is really good for farming souls. So, for that purpose, I think it's actually fine for you to keep it for now. Hero classes that you might want to consider afterwards are things like Dragon Guard. So you can go build a Dragatar with it and just build a Dragon team. Especially if you go craft Dragon Soul this week, if you have the resources for it. If you don't, that's still fine, but generally early game Dragon teams as well as mid game Dragon teams tend to be pretty strong, and they skill decently in the late game as well. Especially if you can craft a Dragon Soul, but otherwise you just run Dragatar, which is really easy to obtain rare with it, with maybe like Dragonian Monk and one other damage. And the other thing that you might want to consider is Assassin. Similar to Necromancer, even though not as much. It does have the capability of gaining souls or gold, so you can use it versatile in that way to gain either one of those 2 resources. And it just also does the highest amount of skull damage of any hero class. And ends up working out decently. Yeah, I'd probably say Dragon Guard for the most part. Would be your best bet. Other than that, there's Titan, which ends up working out pretty well with Giants. The only real big issue with Titan, though, is you need to get it fully traded to fully utilize it, which you probably, at that low level, don't have the trade stones for. Good evening, Tim. Welcome. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Triple Finessa just absolutely decimates raids this week. It's pretty funny. Probably one of the easiest raid weeks ever, especially if you're using Titan maxed out with it. Okay, can you please stop gaining infinite HP? You're worse than Lady or an Aerial. Alright, we'll go for that. Later in Uriel actually did have one less mana cost a little while back. They ended up nerfing her when they gave her immune to mana drain. They made her 1 mana cost higher. Which kind of ruined her as her troop in a way, because it made it so much harder to actually get her up. Seriously, we might actually lose this. I gotta be careful. Let's go take a purple. We can't even take it, we'll take yellow. Wow, how are we still alive? We'll go for that. Get a bit of hit on him. Still not enough damage. I need 1 nice Ubistet in him. Problem is he's gonna kill me right now. I gotta go for it. That's not enough damage though. Okay. I might have actually just killed myself by doing that. Let's see. Oh, no, I didn't. Not yet. Almost. Almost. Not yet, though. Alright, we'll have full mana next turn. And there's our win. Well, that's a weird way to win, but we won. What's the meta to use with Titan? It's Euro Fire Mantle, Fire Giant, Hero using Dawnbringer or any purple weapon. Ideally Dawnbringer, but purple weapon does make it so you cover every color. So if you go something like Black Manacles or something, ends up working out decently. Or Staff of Madness if you own it. But yeah, probably Black Manacle, because most people don't own Staff of Madness. That or Death Kneel, if you had it fully maxed out with perks. Other than that, yeah, basically either Dawnbringer or purple weapon, essentially. And it goes, yeah, Yarrow, Fire Giant, Dawnbringer or purple weapon, and Hindla Frost Crown for your last slot. And that's the meta Giant team. It has the highest HP of any team in the entire game. It's not the absolute quickest team in the game, but it's really tanky. And when Euro wants to actually work properly and land his extra turns, it's pretty loopy as well, as far as how much damage you can get down. It's also nice that it has the freeze option. One single Hindla ends up getting you freeze. Also has summon, so worst comes to worst, you can even just re-summon back and get a full team back to normal. And like I mentioned, it has highest HP in the entire game. Literally no team in ever will have a higher HP than that team. The main reason being is Stormheim has is the only kingdom that has pure HP bonus. So there's never going to be a team with higher HP than that. Other than a different Stormheim team made of new giants that will come out in the future. But it will always be Titan and Stormheim with tied at the highest HP ever with itself. And of course, HP is way better than armor, which is one of the reasons why high HP is actually really good. This late in the game, I can actually start with over 100 HP on my entire team if we use the 4x Giant team, which is really high to start out with. Of course, Divine teams can easily reach that in like one cast, but as far as like actual starting value, that's insanely high to have. It's also one of the reasons why true damage is so bad right now. Between Priest and Titan, there's almost no room for true damage to ever do anything. Because Titan teams end up getting ridiculously high HP normally, and Divine teams have so much heal and normally life gain and just everything that true damage doesn't want to deal with. I've been nibbling on this bag of cereal for like 3 hours now. This bag started almost half full, and now it's down to this much. Though in all fairness, it did technically start with 1/3 air. All bags always have too much air in them. It was Hero Fire Mantle, Fire Giant, Hero, and Hindla. Hero goes in front of the Hindla. I guess technically it doesn't matter depending on what weapon you use. But normally you would just put your Hero in front of your Hindla.
The other reason being is Titan gains on skull effects that is much better than what Andjel will have. So yeah, definitely hero in third slot. Actually, technically, depending on your weapon, you could even put hero in second slot because it's better than Fire Giant when it comes to skulls. Hero definitely first though, always. The only time you don't use Euro first is if you're using him as a burning option in an Element Grim team, if you don't have Infernus yet. It's about the only time you really ever run non-first slot Euro Fire Mantle. Do you know which troops are next week's Soulforge? I do not. We'll find out next week. Hopefully Ubistet. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I still don't understand how Ubistet hasn't been yet. Wasn't Ubistet added like 7 weeks ago or something? Like we're about to get it's like 2 mythics ago, isn't it? Because we're about to get another mythic next week. So it's had to have been like 7 weeks by now. He should be in the drop table any week now. Alright, let's go throw this down and get a hit. Thank you for your subscribe. Much appreciated. Can I try a true damage team for you? You're thinking Mountain Crusher, Clockwork Sphinx. Clockwork Sphinx. Oh, that's that one armor boosting one. Tesla and Apothecary. That's a interesting team, to say the least. Trying to think that through. I guess that could work. Okay, we'll give it a shot. I don't have Brown Storm on my Mountain Crusher, though. Let me go get to a real battle before we do that, though. Okay, what do we need to move? Go move that over. Go throw a nice little hit. I just realized something. You know that one class bonus thing that ends up giving extra bonus to mechs? Like at level 100, some things get like a little bonus for mechs. I just realized they made it HP and not armor, didn't they? So that you couldn't even use it on fire bombs. I mean, on bomb bots. Like the one thing that it may have actually been good for, and I don't even think they did it. Wait, let me go double check the hero class. Did they seriously just make it so you can't even do that? That makes no sense, especially on something like constructs. Like, why wouldn't you give them their, or mechs? I mean. Oh wait, no, it was constructs. Never mind. My bad. Yeah, it was constructs for 10 HP, wasn't it? Okay, I guess that makes a little bit more sense. Where's the mech one then? Okay, let me go double check. Oh, there is a mech one. It's 1 armor per turn, I think, which isn't worth using. Never mind, I forgot. Yeah, there's 2 different ones. I'm confusing constructs and mechs. This one is for constructs and it's 10 life. That makes sense. And the other one is for mechs, which is I forget which class has other than mech. So let's go to mech. And the other one is this one. All mech allies gain 2 armor per turn. Okay, I see. So they actually did make it armor. So they did do it correctly, which is nice. It's just that you don't get it as a burst at the start of battle. You have to wait over time, which makes it not as desirable, unfortunately. Okay, anyways, let's go do that true damage team you mentioned. Actually seems kind of interesting. Actually, you know what? Let's clear through his revenge real quick, then we'll go do it. Just to make sure we get the double gold and the glory, of course. Where do you get all your information? You can never find anything on the Gems of War website. Well, where do you check on the Gems of War website? You can either check the Gems of War forum, the official forum. You can check, and the other place would be Terran's World, which is the 3rd link in the description. Yeah, 3rd link in description, I believe. It would end up bringing you there. The one that says, what do I have next to it? Gems of War upcoming troop information. If you click on that, and then you click back to the main menu on that link that it brings you to, it'll bring you to a page that has a bunch of various information, not just your troop info, but pretty much all spoiler-related information that we currently know of. For the most part, there's still a few things missing. Also, it's not the most up-to-date. It normally updates, or it's updated manually, so it's not always fully up-to-date. But at the moment, it pretty much is. I think the only thing like not dated that we do know is
they still haven't bothered switching the hero class, the typing, for the next Mythic. It's not going to be Divine anymore, yet the website still shows as Divine. It's already been confirmed multiple times now that it's not going to be Divine. Famine is 4th best troop? Not really. I believe the best Mythics thingy that's currently going on the forum currently has them there. I wouldn't personally rank him as 4th best troop, but as far as crafting order is basically what that's for. And as far as crafting order is concerned, yeah, crafting Famine is your 4th Mythic. Actually isn't that bad. You use it occasionally for Guild War days. It's also the best mana drainer in the game, and very few teams run immune to mana drain, even though it does exist. It used to be insanely overpowered when no mana drain immunity existed in the game, which of course was a thing for quite a while of time. But then they finally added it because mana drain was just overly spammed literally everywhere. Uryali 3rd worst. Uryali is actually really decent for getting some teams together due to her coloration. If there was ever a Mythic to get a similar coloration to her, she would never be used again. But due to her coloration, there's a lot of holes that she fits into some teams. The fact that she covers green, yellow, blue is very convenient because just a lot of typings tend to miss 2 of those colors more often than not. And you can use her as just a base summoner, and you can still use her as just a standard AoE, and just ignore that she does true damage and just kind of consider it a slightly less effective AoE that has a summon, and just kind of use her like that. She's pretty decent on some Guild War days. I think Yellow Guild War Day in particular, because those colors you tend to not use. But there's a lot of Mythics that tend to get used like very nichely on a single Guild War Day. I believe Amnesia got a little bit high because of that. You only really ever use it for Yellow Guild War Day and a few other Guild War days occasionally. But you only really use it with Daemon-related Guild War color days. Oh yeah, did we get a gnome? No, we didn't get a gnome. We'll have another code when we find a gnome. So if we don't find it soon, I guess we will give out the code regardless. I don't know where all the gnomes are hiding. We keep getting like gigantic bursts of them, and then we get none of them for like an hour on end, which is unfortunate. Hopefully we find one soon. Oh, sorry, I forgot to go do the true damage team. Let me go do that. I forget what was even mentioned at this point. I think I can remember. It was something with the Sphinx. It was like a kind of armor loop thing with the mountain crusher. Okay, what do we need here? We need, oops, that to reach full mana, because Infernus will not be enough. What else do we have? We don't have any drops, just give him some mana. At this point, we might as well just go try getting the Infernus kill. You should have enough damage by then. And FP to win. He just dies to burn, and there we go. Okay, what do we have on next one? Clear it out, and let me go do true damage, like was mentioned. Sure, we'll do it against the meta. It's not pure meta. Actually, I probably shouldn't do it against that. We'll do it against goblins. Let's see if it goes a little bit better against that. Because it will definitely die against divines. Yeah, we'll give this a shot. Mountain Crusher. That's not Mountain Crusher. Mountain Crusher. What was the full team? Clockwork. Oh, I can actually go upgrade that. Probably should. We're gonna go use it. We might as well go upgrade it. Get it to epic. Go and get it a level. And there we go. Clockwork Sphinx. Now I get slightly more stats. Makes it so it won't die as easily. And what were the other two things we needed? Tesla, who's already there. And what was the other one we need? We needed an apothecary for the cleanse, as well as just more brown. And what are we missing as far as coloration? I guess yellow, and that's it. So what is the minus yellow banner? Or banners, I should say. Brown and purple. That doesn't seem too bad. I would want a +1 Tesla if we can, though. And I don't think any minus yellow actually +1's a Tesla. And the answer to that is no, apparently. So yeah, we'll just go with this. Go and get a nice Mountain Crusher going, kind of go from there. Do you think the new Mythic would be able to make an impact on the Divine meta? You don't see the Divine meta ever changing unless they nerf Fishbala. No, it's not going to have any effect on the Divine meta. If anything, it's going to make it more popular. It's not actually going to be a Divine, but it's going to be webbing all enemies. And generally, if to counter web, you'd want to have Cleanse. And of course, Divines have a lot of Cleanse. Also, did we just lose to it already? But we'll go and... wow, we have almost no armor now because of that. We'll go and take it around. Get that over. Oh yeah, it destroys all the type. Let's go do that on green, actually. Get our armor looping a little bit. No, he's just going to have way too much loop. Problem is we have to end our turn every single time we want to do anything. Which is the problem of using this team compared to other armor loops into Tesla. Yeah, we're not going to be able to do enough damage. He's just going to keep gaining too much from everything he does. But we'll go get rid of reds here. Get that cascaded some. Get a little bit of our mana. Oh wait, oops, I forgot. It's being blocked on blue. Yeah, we just lose here from at this point. Not going to have enough damage. Nowhere near enough damage. Not against that kind of team. Yeah, let's retreat. Yeah, generally the easiest way to go with something like that is just going double Dwarven Gate, Valkyrie, Tesla. There isn't much a need to go anything else. It just already works, so you don't really need to change it. It doesn't use hero, but it's still really, really strong for everything that you would ever need it for. And it works for every game mode. Or, you know, every game mode where you can run it. It's particularly good for pets since it's pretty much just guarantees you the pet win. Double Dwarven Gate, Valkyrie, Tesla. I will take the red down. Get the last little bit of our mana there. See what else we have to take here. Take a yellow. Get Infernus down. Let's focus some. Hello, Marcelo. Welcome. Doesn't Infernus warrant a nerf? Yes. They should pretty much undo the buff they gave to it like several months ago. They gave him 5 additional damage to his ability. Even that wouldn't fully fix him, but I don't know. We'll see exactly what they do with him in the future. I feel like they could at least revert the buff they did to him a while back. There's really no need for him to have that much damage. He's already insanely powerful without it. You're level 160 and have Infernus and Wordbreaker. Wow, that's insanely lucky. Last week. Any team recommendations? You wouldn't really ever use both of them together. Though if you were to use both of them together, you would probably use it with... your team would end up being Alchemist, Moneylender, Infernus, Wordbreaker. If you were to use both of them together. And just do it like that. You throw Alchemist immediately. That gives up Moneylender. You then throw Moneylender. That gives you... all of the red you need, and you just throw Infernus or Wordbreaker, keep repeating, win. But yeah, Alchemist, Moneylender, Wordbreaker, Infernus. I mean, switch Infernus and Wordbreaker. Alchemist, Moneylender, Infernus, Wordbreaker would be the team. You'd want to put the lower mana cost one up front, which is Infernus. Yeah, I'll actually go show that team as well, just real quick. Let's throw another Infernus down before we do. Uberstead in there, definitely get a double kill. Throw a little poke on something and go from there. Probably throw it on Dawnbringer so it doesn't keep barriering us. Hopefully. Still gonna get it off if we don't hit the extra turn, and we don't. Throw that down. Ow. Still win if we're not careful. Gonna get full mana for Dawnbringer next turn, regardless of what he does. What do we take here? Do we even bother for the skull? I don't think we do. We'll just let him have it. Didn't get full mana there, unfortunately. He just gains even more barriers, if that wasn't already bad enough. He's gonna take another poke on us. Not enough to kill, but still, it's a bit of a bad situation still. He kills that out. Now we have to go kill it out with a Uberstead hit. He does not have alignment, though, which is nice, but we don't have mana that we need, so that's not good. I guess we'll go drop something down, like maybe just purple there, why not? That'll give us this other cast, so we don't actually need it because you just converted out the entire board, so not really going to get us that far. Just going to move that over. Didn't get the up front mana, or the up top mana, but we'll just throw that down and way more than enough, and down it goes. Hello, Alex. You're a relatively new player at level 102. What should your priorities be? When you're a newer player, the main priorities you should have is getting every single kingdom, or start working up every single kingdom, so that you can eventually get into a good guild. Generally, to get into some of the better guilds that have higher gold requirements, which is what your main goal should be, you want to make sure you have level 10 all kingdom, and this takes a while to do. First things first is get every single kingdom to obtaining them, which you buy for about 4,000 gold each. So obtaining every single kingdom. From there, you want to make sure you get Dragon Armor and Celestial Armor if you're not planning on spending $50 for Death Knight. So Dragon Armor you buy first, and you go into Celestial. Both of them cost 500 gems. You can obtain them out over in, where was it? If you go under Hero, go under Armor Bonus, and you click on the Dragon or Celestial. Both of them are 500. Get Dragon first. And that will end up giving you a massive gold bonus, which will help out a lot. You then want to start upgrading every single kingdom to level 3 or 4, either or, and then start doing all the magic kingdoms to level 10, and then start doing the rest of them to level 10, ideally in order of magic, attack, HP, and then armor. You can also do HP before attack, but magic is always first, and armor is always last. But the magic kingdoms are the ones to get started on are Blighted Lands, Darkstone, Karkaroth, Zolkari, right? Yeah, sorry. Blighted Lands, Darkstone, Karkaroth, Zolkari, and Silverglade. To check if one actually is, all you do is just go under the kingdom page, and whatever skill bonus it says there is the one it has. And those would be the 5 kingdoms you'd want to prioritize first. Get to get to level 10, and then you'd want to get the rest to level 10. And then once you have them all to level 10, you want to go and try finding a guild that obtains about as much gold as you obtain per week. So either 100,000, 300,000, 500,000, whatever that might be. And then you kind of just sit there and you gain a bunch of resources every single week, which is kind of nice. And that should basically be your main priority set. As far as gems, after you get Dragon Armor and Celestial Armor, you pretty much just throw the rest of them at bulks of 50 gem keys. The reason you do 50 at once is just because it saves you slightly more gems. It only costs 9 gems each instead of 10 if you do it that way. And other than that, that's basically all your main priorities when you're first starting out. That, and if you need souls, do Arena. And if you need literally any other resource, basically do PvP or Treasure Hunt. Treasure Hunt doesn't give you any XP or ingots, but it does give you a nice mix of resources in there. Besides Death Knight armor, or Death Armor, what's the best deal in the shop right now? What's the best deal other than Death Knight armor? I guess that's relative on a lot of factors. I'd probably say either one of the $50 Mythic packs, which is still pretty expensive for it, but for a guaranteed Mythic, that is kind of convenient, especially if it gives you a good one. The problem is, it's more than likely going to give you a horrible one. Other than that, if you play a lot in a given month, one thing that could be considered worth it is the monthly thingy. The one for 50% extra gold, souls, and XP. This, when you're kind of just starting out, if you're planning on playing like an excessively large amount in a given month, it could be considered okay. But you'd have to play a lot of time for that to actually be worth it. Like somewhere's around like 20 plus hours per week, 30 plus hours per week for that to actually be worth it. But if you were planning to play more than that, you get a lot of value out of it. But yeah, it really comes down to preference too, I would say, for the most part. Okay, what was the other team I was about to go mention? Oh yeah, I was going to go do that one team. Someone said they got Wardbreaker and, what was it called? Oh, I don't want to do it against Famine, though. I don't want to do it against Goblins either, but apparently we'll do it against Goblins. But let me go do that team. It was something with Infernus Wardbreaker. Oh yeah, you wanted me to do one with both. Let me go do that after it loads. So we want to go get an Alchemist. I want to go get a Moneylender. I want to go get a Wardbreaker. And we want to go get a Infernus. And let's throw all that into a little battle right there. And Banner, we would want to go a double yellow just so we can get the Moneylender up there. And be good to go. Just throw it in there. And that's all we would need for that. And we are missing one color blue. Actually, what's the minus blue banner? Isn't there a minus blue that gives +1 green as well? Hold up. I think there's actually a perfect banner for this team that I'm not even using. There it is, that one. +2 yellow, +1 green, -1 blue. Works out perfectly, actually, for this team. And there we go. You just rush Alchemist immediately, or Moneylender, either or. Moneylender doesn't get as good of a first cast, though, whereas Alchemist definitely would. And as I say that, I do get that up. Oh, I should take a skull first, but we're already good to go. Throw that in there, get the Infernus down if we get it, and just keep throwing Moneylender and Alchemist and keep getting all of our other mana up. And you basically just repeat this infinitely until you win. And yeah, pretty lucky that you have these as early game, because they do a lot of damage. You have like 2 of the best damage sources in the entire game already. It's pretty convenient. And they're both loopable ones too, which are always nice. Because even though loopable ones normally don't do as much upfront damage, they get their mana back so quickly that they overall actually do more damage. As you can see, we already won. So it's pretty strong. Unfortunately, the team doesn't use hero. But you're going to be winning so quickly that it doesn't really matter too much that it doesn't use hero. But yeah, that's pretty much the team. Which one should you trait? You technically don't need any traits for this to win. The only thing you really need to trait is Alchemist to... oops, I clicked off of it. Alchemist to 2 traits, that's all you need. He doesn't need a single one. Infernus technically doesn't need a single one, though it would be pretty useful to have Fiery Death. And his final one too, but it's really expensive to get Mythics traded, so you're not going to be doing that anytime soon, unless you have Orange Orbs. You would definitely want to use your Orange Orbs for the 2nd and 3rd trait on Infernus, most likely first, and then maybe Wardbreaker eventually. Infernus traits are way better, so if you are going to go use Orange Orbs, make sure to use it on 2nd trait Infernus and 3rd trait Infernus, unless you have one of those major orb ones, orange ones, in which case you can just use on them immediately. But if you only have the smaller ones, get his 1st trait with actual trait stones, and then use those orbs on his 2nd and 3rd, since you probably don't have anywhere near enough to do it normally. Yeah, it's definitely a lot more important to get Infernus traded than it would be to get Wardbreaker traded. Infernus gains way more of a benefit from doing so. Let's see. What was your question, Ziplom? You said a question, but then you didn't do the question. Let's see. Mang, Raid Boss Troops, Salinas, and Fonessa. What banner? What banner for that team? Let's see. You'd probably go with a... You definitely want +1 yellow to some degree. I think I was using some kind of +2 yellow, +1 red, -1 green. Because we don't use green, right? Yeah, the team doesn't use green. So yeah, you would use +2 yellow, +1 red, -1 green, the Lantern banner for your banner. What legends are good out of Caberis, Sakima, the Great Maul, the Silent One, and Viper? The Great Maul. You'd build your team basically into Great Maul Apothecary, or Great Maul Fully Traded Mercy, but Great Maul Apothecary is way cheaper. But yeah, Great Maul, Apothecary, anything, for the most part. Make sure you do have at least one other brown and one other yellow on your team, generally, because you want to make sure that you absorb all the Great Maul mana. Especially since you're using Apothecary, you definitely want at least one other brown. But yeah, Great Maul is insanely good. It's the best Devourer in the entire game. It's the only thing that has 100% Devour. It can only ever cast once, but still, you can go and use that one cast and then just kind of go crazy from there with a gigantic attack. And as one of your other troops, I don't know if you have it, but something like a Keeper of Souls, or actually you probably don't, because you just kind of mentioned what your better stuff is. But you'll eventually get some better skull spams that use brown that would actually synergize really well into that team. So I don't believe you have them currently, but still, a single Great Maul into a Devourer is still enough to win almost every battle. And you can use that for pet battles as well and stuff, since you can just steal their stats from them and then win off that way. Yeah, no problem, Richard. Which one is best to be traded? Was that referring to the other thing, or which hero class is worth being traded? Is it worth crafting ingots using older ingots? Not really, but if you want to rush it forward just a little bit quicker. It burns through a lot of souls, so I probably would say don't do it as a newer player. I do just because, well, we have more souls than we ever know what to do with. Yeah, I wouldn't really upgrade them too much as a newer player. It costs 100 souls every single time, and you can definitely burn through a lot of souls very quickly that way. Obviously, with us having like 1.8 million souls, I don't mind throwing souls at it. There isn't much we're throwing souls at, so it doesn't really hurt my stack. But as a newer player, you probably actually wouldn't want to upgrade. You wouldn't want to upgrade your thingies, your ingots. You just kind of want to leave them at whatever their rarity is. And then after you finish out like the commons, you just don't upgrade them for a while. You would eventually, but souls are a lot more important into other stuff when you're first starting out. And the value you would get from upgrading them is just kind of useless. Also, we didn't find another gnome, so let me hand out a redeem code, because apparently no gnomes want to come out today. Also, someone private messaged me on the forum. Let's see. Someone made a mention. Let's see. Okay, well, let's go and check the code thingy. Which ones have we not used yet? I guess we'll just go right down the line. So we'll go double check this first one right here. It's a bunch of random everything. I don't even know what that is, but let's go copy paste all that. Save it so we know we used it. X out of that so it doesn't do alerts. Put my thing in here so it works. Put that there, put that there. Get rid of the space that it keeps doing for whatever reason. Click redeem, and it works. Success. Let me go get that into chat. Actually, before I do, let me go put it below me in case someone comes in the last 10 minutes. Let's see, where did we put that? Put that right in there. Boom, boom. Put that right in there. And there's the code. Center that just a little bit. And there we go. Okay. So put that right there. Let's go and also get ourselves the link so you guys can just copy paste it. Put that right there. Copy it to chat. And there it goes to go. And there's the redeem code. You use it on gemsofwar.com underneath the game code section. Any of you that want to go do that. And we'll just go into this. If you guys still have any other questions for the last 5-10 minutes, just let me know. Otherwise, we'll just do a few more battles and end it out. And if you've been enjoying the stream, feel free to leave a like, as it really helps out a lot. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, make sure to use the redeem code below. It should last for pretty much the rest of the stream, for sure. It should have enough claims. But do make sure to claim it immediately, though, just in case. Because you never know. Use it on gemsofwar.com underneath the game code section. Your invite code can be found underneath your settings menu, under any of the settings anywheres. You just click on the little cog thingy, and whatever your game says there is what you put in. The redeem code is what is below, as well as what is in chat, and it gives the same reward as always. 2 gem keys, I wish. 1 gem key, 2 treasure maps, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. And we'll see what we get from the one. Anything good? Come on, ingots. Not an ingot. It's a useless druid. And that's that. Alright, let's go into this one. Hey, he's using the upgraded Death Kneel. Haven't actually seen someone cast with it yet. I'm actually going to let him cast. It would only be really good if there was a Doom Skull on the board, though. There's no Doom Skull currently. Oh, there it is. Sweet. Okay, let me deliberately give him mana. Without him taking that Doom Skull. Or just... Oh! Oh, wait, no, I can kind of take this and do it that way. Please take mana. That awkward moment when you actually want the enemy taking mana. Here, I'll give you mana this way. Hopefully I'll miss and give you a bunch of red. Here, take all that red. I want to see you do the ability. Aw, I didn't really get to show much because it exploded the same too. Wait, it does explode a skull, right? Explode a random skull. Wait, can the random skull work on the exact same place that the Doom Skull does? Because that both triggered at the exact same location. It only did 1 explosion. It didn't do 2. That was weird. Does it not do what it says? Or does it just function weirdly? Okay, hopefully a Doom Skull falls onto the board. Nope, it's only going to do 1. Alright, let me go try testing this again. I need a Doom Skull to fall to the board without killing him. Or without him killing us. He's just getting a decent amount of mana from it, but come on, Doom Skull, where are you? I need him to get to a full mana and for him to get a Doom Skull. I'll smooth that over. Or for a Doom Skull to be on the board, I mean. I'll leave those purples there. As I say that, I remove it. No Doom Skulls still. It's gonna keep just doing 1 explosion. Come on, Doom Skulls, where are you? I know you're out there. Oh, my whole team's gonna die at this rate. Seriously, where's all... There we go. Okay, now I need him to reach full mana without him taking that Doom Skull. No! Yes! No! Okay, hopefully he casts his ability. Let's hope he's smart enough to cast his ability. Good. Oh, it does do 2. It just does that at different times. I see. Okay, it does do 2. But that means if your... That's weird. So if your Doom Skull triggers first, but if your Doom Skull explodes over top the skull that it was going to explode, it doesn't explode the skull. That's kind of weird. So you got to make sure the Doom Skull is not near the skull. Otherwise, it's not going to explode the skull. I kind of assumed both of them would occur at the exact same time, but apparently it did not. Code doesn't seem to work. It should. Make sure that there's not a space. If you're copy-pasting it from YouTube still does that weird thing where it keeps adding an extra space that shouldn't belong there. And it's really weird, but it does do that. No problem, Slurpee. Glad I could help. Anyone else still have any other questions or anything you want me to go over? Otherwise, I'll probably be heading off for now. So let me know. Let's go do one last battle here. So just let me know. And we'll be back later tonight to go do... actually, I don't even know if I'll be doing raids tonight. But, yeah, we'll probably just be chilling tonight and going over everything else. But, I don't know. Maybe we'll go do raids. It depends where my guild's at. Maybe we'll do it one last time. We're still using the correct hero class. Oh, actually, we're technically using the wrong hero class. I was saying earlier that we kind of needed to switch to Titan because we were starting to reach a point where the stats were just too high for us to deal with because we kept dying too quickly to the hits. Okay, can he get any more amount of assassins? Wow. Luckily, they're low rarity assassins, so they don't really have much HP or durability. Their question is, how do you stay consistently invested in this game? I don't know, I've just always really enjoyed this like match-3 format that it has here with the RPG aspect. I don't know, something about like that 4-and-4 aspect. It's one of the things I kind of like about Darkest Dungeon too. It's just that kind of turn-based exchange of hits. But I don't know. It's just always been something I really enjoyed. And I also really enjoy grinding games. Like the actual grind to try to get things, I normally don't mind that much. I actually find that really enjoyable in various games. So if something was to be added that was like, hey, you need to go do this for like 100 hours. And it's like, oh, okay, I actually don't mind that as long as it's decently fun. But yeah, I don't know. It's the kind of game that I generally just kind of like. This was the first ever match 3 game I ever played though. But the concept of it's very similar to other things I've liked in the past. Okay, what other things I missed? It works good in the classic Gorgotha Glaceon Apothecary team. Instead of a... Well, I guess you could do that instead of the Bloodhammer, because there's a hero class that starts with Doomstorm. So you could technically just use that hero class and do it that way. I believe it's Sorcerer, actually, if I'm not mistaken. What hero class was it? I know there's one hero class that gets to start with Doomstorm. Which actually technically would do basically exactly what the Bloodhammer would do, or at least it would start the same way. And can get some pretty quick wins still, even though they nerfed Doomstorm, the most recent patch. Kingdoms like Broken Spire give brown and blue trait stones. The colors are the arcanes, what trait stones gives kingdoms with double color arcanes, like Whitehelm yellow and what color? Wait, what? I don't understand what you just asked. I have no clue what you mean by that. They just give the pure yellow or the kingdom, or they just give the yellow, the pure yellow one, and all the trait stone drops from there is just yellow. It's not just two different ones, it's just whatever the one is. So every single trait stone here is yellow, and the arcane is the pure yellow one. But yeah, it would just be pure yellow. I don't know what you're asking. It's just the pure yellow trait stone. The I forget what its name is. It's it would drop all the standard yellow ones, and then the arcane would be Arcane Summer. What should you spend your glory on? You should save it for a combination of the glory packs every single week whenever a new trip comes into the game, and on glory keys. You should never really spend them on Spoilers of War unless you desperately want whatever's in the event key drop table. Very, very rarely would you ever spend them on that. It's always nice to keep a nice reserve, or a decent reserve of glory. You should always have on hand about 10,000 glory if you can. Just in case a new troop comes out that you need a lot of trace stones for or anything like that from the glory shop. But yeah, always keep a decent amount on reserve, at least 10,000 if you can. How do you make 300 diamonds fast? There wouldn't really be any way to make it go any faster other than doing the dungeons every single day and buying the 50 gem pack thingy. And you can also go and on Diamond Day on Sunday, you can get 80 diamonds from buying the 50 gem thingy. You can get, what was it, 50? No, it's more than that. It was 60, 70? I think it's 80 actually. I forget how many. But you can get like 60 to 80 off of just doing the battles. And then you could also, if you really want to, specifically on Sunday, you could spend $5, I believe, to get 150 diamonds, if I'm not mistaken. Which could be considered worth it because it gives a decent amount of more gem keys and such too. But Sunday would be the day you'd kind of want to go all in on these two. And technically, you could throw 50 gems on this every single day up until then, and that would end up giving 20 per day. So you could get 20 today, an extra 20 today, an extra 20 tomorrow, and that should be able to make it. Of course, you could throw these 5-hour things too today and tomorrow too, but I wouldn't really bother with that. That'd be 10 hours that you kind of wouldn't need to. You'd be better off just doing it on Sunday, because I believe that would be enough. Basically, do the 50 thing today, do the 50 thing tomorrow, and obviously do your dungeons every day. But do the 50 gem tomorrow. I mean, 50 gem today, 50 gem tomorrow, and then on Sunday do the 50 gem and then the $5, and that would be enough for you to specifically do it on Sunday, not today. And then that should be enough diamonds, if I'm not mistaken. Do double check that on Sunday though to make sure it is enough. Let's see. You've been playing for about 2 months and never knew that. Let's see. Wait, you never knew what? Let's see. Arcane chance is the same for what? Arcanes are the same rate everywhere except Explore. In Explore, they are about 2 to 3 times higher. Arcanes are about 2 times higher. Where's the 3 times? I forget. I believe it's Runics are 3 times higher, and Arcanes and Celestial are 2 times higher, if I'm not mistaken. So the drop rates are slightly higher in Explore compared to other areas. So if you specifically needed high rarity trait stones, that's one of the main ways you would do it. The other way, which is a lot quicker, is accumulate a bunch of glory, and then when the arcane trait stone comes around in a glory pack, like let's say you need a yellow purple, you just keep spamming this button until you get all the yellow purple you need, or whatever color it is. That's the other method of doing it. You save a lot more time doing it that way, though you waste a lot of glory doing it that way, though it's still normally worth it due to how much time you save. Do the hero traits and talents like plus green matches, etc. carry after death? No, they do not. So generally, you want to set your banner to a way that, let's say you're using hero first slot, that you would still be able to fully utilize your banner. Well, that goes for basically any team. Generally, you want to make sure you can still use your banner even after first slot dies. But particularly with your hero, because you're losing whatever links it has. It's why you see me slightly, when I was using Divine teams, I would slightly switch up my banner. Like, for example, you'll normally see me using a green-blue banner whenever I'm running the Divine team right now. But if I was running the actual Divine hero class, I'd be running it with yellow-blue. The reason for this is because you can do a +1 green onto the hero class itself, but the team doesn't actually use green. Only our hero uses green. So our hero will die, and then we still get to keep the yellow-blue banner. Whereas if we were to have green-blue as our banner, and we were to set it the other way around, and have our hero set to a +1 yellow, we would end up wasting it, because once our hero dies, we'd lose that mana, and we'd have a +1 green that we don't even use. Whereas when we set it the other way around, when our hero dies, we'll still have it afterwards, because whatever bonus you have on your banner lasts for the entire battle. But whatever ones you have on troops, as soon as a troop dies, you no longer have whatever bonuses it has. There are a few exceptions to that, like ones that trigger at the beginning of battle, like Jinx and Merchant and stuff like that. Things that actually like start at the beginning of battle, do their effect, and then never trigger again. Those things will still stay in effect even after they die. But things that keep recurring over and over again stop occurring when they die. And mana links do count as things that keep occurring. So once it dies out, you no longer have it, other than whatever your banner is, of course. Let's see. Is there anywhere we can see the chances for battles and explore? I don't know if we have any recent data on it. And I have no clue where the old data is. But somewhere's on the forum is some data on it. I have no clue where it is these days, though. But if you go and searching through it, you could probably find it buried somewheres. If you keep looking for like key terms, like maybe explore, trait stones, and stuff like that. But anyways, guys, I'll be heading out for now. I believe that was all the questions. Thank you all so much for coming down. We will be back later tonight in about 6.5 hours. Other than that, we will be back, well, same time tomorrow night as well. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night, as well as tonight. Tomorrow night, we'll, of course, will be going over the new event that'll be happening. And other than that, that is pretty much everything then. So if you guys still have... oh, wait, never mind. What am I saying? Why do I think it's Saturday right now? My days are all off. Never mind. Tomorrow I'll also be streaming at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Why did today feel like Saturday? I don't know. It feels like the weekend already. I just wanted it to be the weekend already, apparently. But anyways, guys, I'll see y'all later. Thank you so much for coming down. Leave a like if you enjoyed. I'll be back later. And yeah, if you guys still have any other questions, feel free to leave it on any of the videos. And we'll be covering some more guide stuff soon. And other than that, just the normal event stuff. So, thanks for coming down. Enjoy your weekends. And enjoy the summer. Goodbye, everyone.